Chapter 902, Light and Darkness. In the past 2 days, the Holy See town had been filled with blood. Even the ordinary people could feel the special atmosphere of the Holy See town. Whether it was the restaurants, the tea houses, or the demon hunters mercenary group, everyone was in a panic. All of the reasons were because of the Dragon Assassin group. The 5 strikes of the Dragon Assassin group had shocked everyone. Everyone was afraid. What if their enemies hired the Dragon Assassin to assassinate them? Everyone had their own thoughts. If they could kill a level 5 transcendent on the street, who couldn't be assassinated by the Dragon Assassin? At night, some people took action. At 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, when St. C town was still bustling with activity, old men picked up interspatial rings from their fixed positions. After checking the things inside, they left with smiles on their faces. These old men looked very ordinary. They had already lived in St. C town for more than half of their lives and knew many people. No one would doubt them. However, at this moment, it was this group of people who had become the secret informants of the Dragon Assassin organization. No one would have thought that. Do it. When the rewards were obtained one by one, it was time for the Dragon Assassin to perform. In this mission, the strongest one was a transcendent rank 6 powerhouse, the patriarch of the Holy See town family. His strength could be ranked in the top 10 in the entire Holy See town. In Holy See town, only the mayor was a transcendent rank 9, there was only one rank 8, 3 or 4 rank 7, and rank 6, which was already considered top-notch. There was only one rank 6 expert in the mission. In the past, it was impossible to assassinate a rank 6 expert with a dragon spike, but now, it was easy for a fully-formed dragon Ao Yarrow to assassinate him. It was even possible to assassinate a rank 7 transcendent with 70% certainty. Moreover, for the Ao Yarrow, there was no difference between night and day. The night passed quickly. Someone's been killed. It's a dragon spike, a dragon spike. Master. Leader. At dawn today, the people of Holy See town were woken up by screams of shock. In the entire Holy See town, especially in the central area, more than 10 screams shook the central area. In the mayor's mansion in the center of Holy See town, a middle-aged man instantly floated in the sky, his blue eyes sweeping around. Father, what happened? At this moment, a woman also flew into the void, looking at the middle-aged man with a surprised face. The appearance of the dragon spike has made some people go crazy. The middle-aged man looked at the nearest place and said slowly, "Crazy." The woman seemed to be deep in thought, looking at the middle-aged man with a shocked expression. That is? The Fenglian family? Their patriarch? Her eyes widened in shock. The patriarch of the Fenglian family was one of the top 5 families in Holy See town. Now, the patriarch had been assassinated. Hihi, that's good too. Killing is peace, the middle-aged man said with a smile. Then, he flew down. Killing is peace. The woman murmured with a puzzled expression. Patriarch Fenglian was assassinated, a rank 6 transcendent. The captain of the Dogfish mercenary group was also killed, another rank 6 transcendent. The ancient forger was assassinated, a rank 5 transcendent. My God, I heard that in one night, 2 rank 6 experts, 8 rank 5 experts, 9 rank 4 transcendents, and 13 rank 3 transcendents were assassinated. Crazy, crazy, it was the Dragon Assassin organization. In one night, more than 30 experts were killed. Congratulations on your death. When the Dragon Assassin's congratulatory note arrived, it proved that you were already dead. The head of the Fenglian family, the head of the Bei family, the head of the Qing family, the head of the Zhu family, the leader of the Horned Shark mercenary group, and the leader of the Black Ape mercenary group all died in one night. The whole Holy See town was in an uproar. If the 4 people had been assassinated yesterday, then after that night, everyone was terrified. Everyone's faces were pale. Even the people who had hired the Dragon Assassin group yesterday looked a little embarrassed. Because yesterday, they could hire the Dragon Assassin group, and today, the other party could also hire the Dragon Assassin group. Fear rose in everyone's hearts. Wu Sandao, come out. The enmity between the 2 of us should be resolved today. Either we settle it peacefully, or we can go up to the arena and have a battle to settle our enmity. No one is to hire a dragon spike to assassinate us. Do you agree or not? All right, little tiger. I was just about to look for you. Come, let's go to the restaurant. Let's settle our enmity today. Kong family, GE family is here to settle our grudges today. Come out. In this situation, you guys don't want to fight to the death, right? All right, let's settle our grudges today. Whoever hires the dragon assassin will die a horrible death. All right, a battle between gentlemen, fair and square. In the morning, some people couldn't sit still anymore. FUCK, in this world where martial force was respected, which family didn't have an enemy? What if the enemy hired the dragon assassin organization? They could only settle their grudges peacefully. Thus, under the dumbstruck gazes of everyone in Holy See Town, the families that used to fight each other with swords. Those mercenary groups that wanted the other party dead or alive. And those enemies that had grudges. Today, they sat in the restaurant and the tea house to negotiate and reconcile. After the negotiations were successful, those hostile families stood up and shook hands with each other before heaving a sigh of relief and leaving. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbstruck. FUCK, in the past, it was said that they would not rest until one of them was dead. Why did they shake hands and make peace now? Did they have any sense of shame? However, the people involved knew that this matter was not a matter of whether they were shameless or not. If their opponents suddenly became ruthless and found a dragon to assassinate them, wouldn't they be in trouble? They didn't want to die either. If their faces were gone, they would be gone. If their lives were gone, they would lose everything. After a night of slaughter, the entire Holy See Town actually became much more harmonious. However, what happened next shocked everyone. At noon, 5 or 6 families of Holy See Town collectively opened their doors of charity to help the poor families and the elderly who lived in Holy See Town. Even an alchemist family provided free medical aid to the poor. Seeing this scene, everyone widened their eyes. FUCK, all the families in Holy See Town were going to do a good deed. This dragon spike is so terrifying. The family that our city guards had to be careful with in the past, the mercenary group, is actually doing a good deed today. The rule of the dragon spike is not to kill good people. I heard that someone wanted to assassinate the head of the Tang family. The commission was very high, so the dragon spike directly rejected it. The dragon spike's 3 no kills actually caused the current situation. A group of city guards walked on the streets as they patrolled. When they saw this scene, they were somewhat dumbstruck. The darkness had already arrived, bringing not only slaughter but also light. There was also light. Chapter 903, Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapon Workshop. The overnight massacre had caused an unimaginable change in Shanghai town. This change was something that even Wang Xian didn't expect. Light and darkness exist in the world. Where there is light, there is darkness. Similarly, where there is darkness, there is light and the heart of light and darkness. Wang Xian mumbled to himself. He could somewhat understand why light and darkness could be fused together. 2 completely opposite attributes could be fused together. This was the nature of the great Tao and the truth of heaven and earth. However, the darkness has yet to disappear. Wang Xian was full of smiles. The dragon thorns had brought darkness to the Holy See Town. In the darkness, some people had turned into demons. Nowadays, even though the demons had absorbed the blood, they still existed. Many people had resolved their hatred and done good deeds during the day. However, there were still some people who still had demons in their hearts. At least for the next few days, the demons would not disappear. Dragon King, this is all the rewards from yesterday. We received a lot fewer missions today, but there are still 7 more. The Draconid came to Wang Xian's side and reported to him. Wang Xian took the interspatial ring and nodded slowly. Continue. I reckon that we will receive very few missions in the next 2 days. After these few days of craziness, the Holy See Town would regain its peace. The following missions might not be as frequent. However, the spiritual stones earned in these 2 days were sufficient. Furthermore, he would let the Draconids develop their businesses in other locations. Especially in Donghai City. The Demon Hunters Academy in Donghai City would enroll new students 1 month later. Similarly, Donghai City was close to the ocean. When he arrived there, Wang Xian would have to develop his business. It would be best if he could find an address of the Dragon Palace in the surrounding ocean. He would establish his foundation in this world. In the next 2 days, people died at the hands of the Dragon Assassin organization every day. The red congratulatory death note was also made known to everyone in Shanghai town. It was only on the 3rd day that the Dragon Assassin organization did not receive any missions. In the short span of 4 to 5 days, the Dragon Spike received more than 50 missions, and the number of extraordinary 6th rank experts assassinated reached 4. The Dragon Spike's battle results caused the entire Holy See town to tremble, and even the undercurrent assassin group directly withdrew from Holy See town. A small town had another powerful assassin group, so there was no need for them to fight for territory. In just a few days, I have harvested a few million middle-grade spirit stones, which is enough to buy many elixirs. Next, I have to increase the strength of the members of the Dragon Spike. Wang Xian walked out of his room and headed toward the center of the town. He was going to buy elixirs. The center of the town was still bustling with activity. The assassinations over the past few days had not affected many people. Looking around, there were many elixir stores and weapon stores. However, the 3 largest stores were still the Holy Item Forging Workshop, the Life and Death Elixir Workshop, and the Immortal Phoenix Elixir and Weapon Workshop. These 3 stores were the 3 largest stores in Holy See Town. 90% of people would go to these 3 stores. The 3 stores were very close to each other. With the stores wide open, one could see all kinds of weapons and elixirs inside from the outside. The martial artists who were passing by couldn't help but stop and look inside. Fengxian. Wang Xian walked towards the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop with a smile. Welcome, young master. Would you like to buy elixirs or weapons? As soon as he entered, a female attendant came up to him with a smile and asked Wang Xian. Elixirs. Wang Xian replied directly and looked at the location of the elixirs. Young master, that is the area for elixirs. Young master, you can choose by yourself. The female attendant pointed to the right and said. Wang Xian nodded and walked over. There were quite a number of customers in the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. There were also more than a dozen people in the elixir area. Some were asking about the price while others were asking about the effects of the elixirs. From ordinary pills to transcendent level 5 pills, they were all sold. As for higher grade pills, they were not placed on the stage. More expensive pills were sometimes auctioned. The Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop would sometimes auction some precious pills on the 2nd floor. Shopkeeper, have you got the detoxification pills? At this time, 4 or 5 people who were obviously members of a mercenary group walked in and asked the old man standing inside. I'm sorry, everyone. We don't have the detoxification pill yet. We lack a kind of spiritual herb. The shopkeeper shook his head bitterly. Why don't we have it yet? How are we going to go to the Black Sea area to do a mission? The 5 people frowned and showed some impatience on their faces. Sigh, why can't all the pill workshops in the Holy See town buy it? After saying that, the 5 of them left immediately. The old shopkeeper shook his head slowly. Wang Xian took a look. In the Transcendence continent, not only were there powerful elixirs, but there were also many elixirs that could resist poison, detoxify poison, and provide special assistance. Some places would have miasma while some ferocious beasts and demonic beasts contained poison. Hence, special elixirs were needed to provide assistance. The prices of these elixirs were not low either. However, they were essential items for the mercenary group. Ha, shopkeeper Liu, Heaven Billow Grass. At this moment, a hearty laugh came from outside. Heaven Billow Grass, found it? Shopkeeper Liu, who was sitting inside, was slightly stunned. Soon after, an excited expression appeared on his face, and he hurriedly walked out. Commander Sand Sea, have you really found it? Shopkeeper Liu asked somewhat excitedly. Of course, 35 stalks, the rarest ingredient to refine the detoxification pill. Outside, a dozen middle-aged youths stood there, their faces beaming with pride. Good. We are willing to give you a satisfactory reward after the Mercenary Association's mission reward. Of course, if Commander Shohai wants to exchange it for pills, that's fine too, shopkeeper Liu said to the middle-aged man excitedly. Okay. The middle-aged man nodded with a smile on his face. Wait, Commander Shohai, how about you give us the heaven billow grass? At this moment, a voice came from the side. We will also give Commander Shohai a satisfactory reward. A woman slowly walked out and looked at Commander Shohai and the others with a smile on her face. Hey! Shopkeeper Ching, what do you mean? Shopkeeper Liu looked at the woman with a gloomy face and asked with a gloomy face. The one with the highest price gets it. The woman said with a smile on her face. Hee, the one with the highest price gets it. Commander Shohai is a cooperative mercenary group of our Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. Don't tell me Shopkeeper Ching wants to buy it at twice the price. Shopkeeper Liu asked with a cold smile. Twice the price is too high. Shopkeeper Ching shook his head with a smile on his face. He turned his head and looked to the side. Commander Shohai, do me a favor and give this heaven billow grass to Shopkeeper Ching of the Life and Death Medicinal Pill Workshop. Let's be friends. At this moment, an old man slowly walked over. His gaze swept the surroundings before finally landing on Commander Shohai and the others. Oh! Seeing the old man arrive, Shopkeeper Liu's expression instantly changed. Chapter 904, Phoenix Immortal Crisis. An old man and a one-armed, one-eyed old man. The old man looked extremely ugly. There was a long scar on his face. The scar was 3 to 4 centimeters deep. That eye was directly blinded by this attack. Even if such an old man had a smile on his face, he still looked extremely ferocious. The murderous aura on his body could not be hidden at all. Dao Hen. Shopkeeper Liu's expression changed slightly, and he shouted at the one-eyed old man involuntarily. Commander Dao Hen. The middle-aged commander of the Sand Sea mercenary group at the side also had a slight change in expression, and he shouted at the old man. Dao Hen was a very strange name. No one would choose this name. In fact, the old man was not called Dao Hen in the past. However, when he was middle-aged, which was 100 years ago, he was only the commander of a bronze mercenary group. Later, when he was on a mission in the wild, he was ambushed by another mercenary group and was almost killed by a slash. However, he was lucky enough to escape death. Since then, he let others call him Dao Hen. 2 years later, he killed the mercenary group that ambushed them. Ever since that narrow escape, Dao Hen began to rise. He even used 100 years to establish Dao Hen mercenary group. The #1 mercenary group in Holy Sea Town, the leader of a 5-star gold mercenary group. A rank 7 transcendent. Dao Hen's strength and influence in Holy Sea Town could be ranked in the top 3. He didn't have any enemies in Holy Sea Town, because those who provoked him were already dead. Dao Hen was a legend in Holy Sea Town, and no one dared to provoke him. Hee, how is it? Commander Sand Sea. Dao Hen looked at the shocked expressions of the people around him and ignored them. He looked at Commander Shohai with one eye and said with a faint smile. However, in Shohai's eyes, Dao Hen's smile and eyes seemed to be full of warning. This made his forehead break out in a cold sweat. Dao Hen's name was not something that a 5-star silver mercenary group like him could provoke. But, Commander Shohai stuttered as he looked at Shopkeeper Liu. Shopkeeper Liu saw Dao Hen's invisible threat and his expression was extremely ugly. Dao Hen, the Shohai mercenary group is our partner. Do you wish to withdraw your threat? Threat? Did I threaten Commander Shohai? Haha, Shopkeeper Liu, you can't speak carelessly. Dao Hen turned to Shopkeeper Liu in surprise and said with a smile. Shopkeeper Liu looked at Dao Hen's expression and his face darkened. Dao Hen, are you going to interfere in our matters with the Life and Death Pill Workshop? I'm not involved. I'm just asking Commander Shohai to give face. Why? Are you going to interfere with this, Shopkeeper Liu? Dao Hen's gaze was somewhat cold as he stared at Shopkeeper Liu. When he was cold, he looked even more terrifying, as if he was going to attack at any time. Hee, Dao Hen, you and I are not young. We all know what you mean, Manager Liu said coldly with a dark face. Speaking of which, he was really not afraid of Dao Hen. Even if he was the commander of the strongest mercenary group in Holy See Town, everyone feared Dao Hen. However, he had the support of the immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. The power behind him was not something that a 5-star gold mercenary group could provoke. Even with the power of the Risk Pill and Weapons Workshop, destroying Knifescar was like squashing an ant. Of course, with the power of Holy See Town's immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop, it was much weaker than Knifescar. However, this title was enough. Shopkeeper Liu, Commander Dao Hen is a friend of our Life and Death Pill Workshop. Why? Do you want to suppress our friend? Do you think we are afraid of you? At this time, the woman next to him said with a smile on her face. Shopkeeper Liu's face darkened and he didn't say anything. Commander Shohai, who was sandwiched in the middle, looked even more embarrassed. In this place, their strength was the weakest. If they offended one of them, they would have no place in Holy See Town in the future. Manager Liu, I don't need you to lecture me. Since you say that I'm threatening, then threaten me. Manager Liu, who was at the side, smiled darkly. It seems that Commander Dao Hen is going to completely make things difficult for us, Phoenix Immortal. Manager Liu narrowed his eyes and said to Dao Hen, Old thing, you only have the strength of a transcendent 4th rank, yet you dare to talk to me like this. Do you really think that I have to respect you just because you have the backing of the Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapons Workshop? A threat? I'll show you what a threat is today. Dao Hen's face suddenly became ferocious. He looked at the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop with one eye and said coldly, Everyone from the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop, get out here. In the future, you'd better not let me see you step into it again. Suddenly, Dao Hen shouted directly into the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. His cold voice spread across the surrounding streets. Hey! All the people in the shop were slightly shocked, and their faces showed astonishment. However, when they saw Dao Hen outside, their faces changed, and they walked out in surprise. Dao Hen, do you know what you are doing? Shopkeeper Liu saw Dao Hen directly threatening the customers in the shop, and his face changed greatly. He stared at Dao Hen and asked, Do you want me to repeat it again? In the future, don't let me see anyone enter the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. Dao Hen coldly pointed at the shop's signboard and said with a smile. Everyone who had just walked out looked at it in shock. Dao Hen actually dared to go against the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. What's going on? What happened? Why did Dao Hen have a conflict with the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop? Although the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop's strength is not as good as Dao Hen's, this is still a huge pill and weapons shop after all. The power behind it is extremely terrifying. Why would Dao Hen provoke it so recklessly? Some of the martial artists who passed by were shocked as they stood around and watched. Did you hear that? Dao Hen's face was full of smiles as he slowly spat out 2 words. I heard it. When the customers who walked out saw Dao Hen's expression, their expressions changed slightly. In St. C Town, they could choose not to come to the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop, but they absolutely could not provoke Dao Hen. Haha, I also don't recommend that everyone go to the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop to buy things. If you want to buy weapons and pills, you can go to the Life and Death Pill Formula and the Holy Item Weapon Workshop. At this moment, a loud laughter was heard. Everyone quickly looked over and saw a middle-aged man and an old man leading a group of people over. That is, the shopkeeper of the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the leader of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group. Look, shopkeeper Ching of the Life and Death Pill Workshop is also here. Could it be that this is a game between the 3 major forces? When the surrounding people saw the people from the Biological Forging Workshop arrive, their expressions changed slightly as they whispered their suspicions. Shopkeeper Liu's expression also changed drastically as his eyes flickered with a luster. This was a premeditated counterattack, a game between the 3 great forces. However, it was clear that their Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapons Workshop had been targeted. This caused his heart to sink. No wonder Dao Hen dared to go against them. Chapter 905, Poor Kid. At the center of Holy See Town, in front of the 3 largest pill and weapon workshops, a dense crowd gathered. Life and Death Pill Workshop, Holy Item Forging Workshop, Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop. The three top forces, these three pill and weapon workshops, occupied 50 to 60% of the continent's pill and weapon. 50 to 60% was already a very terrifying number, almost a monopoly. It was the same in St. C Town. The other small pill and weapon workshops were living in the cracks between them. The Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop had risen in the past 2 years. Its rise was extremely terrifying, and it quickly took over the entire Star Moon Kingdom. It sold both pills and weapons. It was obvious that the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop would offend the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Pill Workshop. Today, this situation was clearly targeted by the two great factions. The surrounding people were discussing this scene in hushed tones. Shopkeeper Liu stood there with an extremely ugly expression. The employees of the Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop walked out one by one and watched this scene with indignation. The two major forces were targeting each other. The number 1 mercenary group in the Holy See, the Knifescar mercenary group, and the number 4 mercenary group in the Holy See, the Mirage Sea mercenary group. With the help of the two major mercenary groups, the Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop was helpless in such a situation. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was standing in the shop, was watching this scene with a twinkle in his eyes. It seems that the shop set up by Feng Luan has been targeted. Wang Xian was deep in thought as he looked at the leader of the Sword Scar and Mirage Sea mercenary groups. One of them was at level 7 and the other was at level 6 of the supernatural realm. Furthermore, they had 400 to 500 people in their mercenary groups. They were definitely a big force. Since we have bumped into each other, let's help. Wang Xian was full of smiles as he looked at the stunned crowd. He shouted with a smile, "Everyone from Fengxian, are you still doing business? Buy some elixirs." His voice suddenly rang across the entire street, causing everyone around to be slightly stunned. Especially shopkeeper Dao Henqing and the rest. When they heard this voice, they immediately looked towards Wang Xian's location. This young man? An old man opened his mouth in astonishment. What is this young man doing? Buying things at this time? Is he that stupid? What an idiot. After what happened to him, Dao Hen even shouted. How dare he buy things at this time? That's true. There are more and more brainless people nowadays. Do you guys think Dao Hen will make an example out of this kid? It's hard to say. However, judging from the clothes on this kid's body, the most he can buy is a level 1 extraordinary elixir. Everyone's gaze was focused on Wang Xian as they discussed in a low voice. Even manager Liu, who was at the side, was stunned. However, at this moment, there were still people who dared to come to their shop to buy things. Even if it was the cheapest elixir, they would still sell it. Go and receive this little brother, Manager Liu said to a salesperson with a sullen face. I didn't expect to meet a brainless guy. Dao Hen's face turned sullen when he saw that Wang Xian still dared to buy things at the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop after hearing his words. Haha, so be it. Look, only a stupid guy would buy things at Fengxian. Those with a little bit of intelligence wouldn't buy them. However, shopkeeper Qing, who was standing at the side, didn't get angry. Instead, she said with a loud laugh, I hope that the others won't be as stupid as this little guy. As she said that, she swept her gaze across everyone gathered around her with a face full of smiles. Finally, her gaze fell on shopkeeper Liu once again. Shopkeeper Liu, why aren't you going over to serve the customer in your shop? Who knows, the other party might buy a transcendent Tier 1 medicinal pill. A mocking voice rang out in the surroundings, causing shopkeeper Liu's expression to change drastically. Haha, shopkeeper Liu, hurry up and go. If your service isn't good enough, that foolish brat might not be buying medicinal pills from you anymore. Haha. Beside him, the shopkeeper of the Holy Item Forging Workshop was also laughing out loud as he mocked. In the future, with the Life and Death Medicinal Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop targeting us, Fengxian is finished. Sigh, there are many things in Fengxian that are cheaper than the two of them. However, with the presence of Dao Hen and the Mirage Sea mercenary group, who would still dare to go to Fengxian to buy things? Only those foolish brats would dare to go there. Even if they were to buy, they would probably only buy transcendent level rank 1 medicinal pills. They might not even be at the transcendent level. The people around were discussing softly. Foolish kid. At most, he would buy elixirs of level 1 extraordinaire. Wang Xian was standing at the entrance. When he heard their sarcasm, a hint of disdain flashed across his eyes. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Manager Liu, I want to buy a large number of elixirs. Please come over and we can have a discussion. Wang Xian suddenly spoke again, causing Manager Liu's expression to change. He was a little surprised and in disbelief. Ha, shopkeeper Liu, hurry up and go. Maybe the other party wants to buy 2 extraordinary first-level pills? At this moment, shopkeeper Qing's teasing voice came from the side. Everyone around felt that it was funny. They suspected that this young man was someone that the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop had deliberately found and humiliated them. Manager Liu had also thought of this. His face was so gloomy that blood almost dripped from it. However, as a manager, if he didn't go over, he would definitely become a weakness for the other party. Wang Xian saw everyone's mockery of Manager Liu and revealed a faint smile on his face. He moved his arm. Crash. In an instant, middle-grade spirit stones landed at the entrance of Feng Xian's interspatial ring. The crisp and melodious sound caused everyone to be slightly stunned. This. Everyone looked over and their eyes widened. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Spirit stones, middle-grade spirit stones, piles and piles of middle-grade spirit stones were released from the interspatial ring. Hualala. The sound was still not over. Slowly, spirit stones that were 3 meters tall, 5 meters long, and 2 meters thick were piled up like a wall. The middle-grade spirit stones were pure and emitted spiritual energy. Under the sunlight, they emitted a 7-colored glow. I want to buy elixirs. I want to buy elixirs that cost 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian said to Manager Liu with a smile on his face. Manager Liu's eyes were wide open. He was completely stunned. The surrounding manager Dao Henqing and the people from the Holy Item Forging Workshop were also stunned. Hiss, this. Everyone around also widened their eyes and sucked in a breath of cold air. Their faces were filled with shock as they looked at the pile of middle-grade spirit stones that formed a wall. 8 million. This was 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. The corpse of a transcendent rank 6 demonic beast was worth between 500,000 to 800,000. The corpse of a demonic beast could be refined into medicine and weapons. Its value was several times higher than transcendent rank 6 medicinal pills and weapons. However, these 8 million mid-grade spirit stones could buy the corpses of more than 10 transcendent tier 6 demonic beasts. They could buy 50 to 60 transcendent tier 6 pills and weapons. 50 to 60 pills? What kind of concept was that? Chapter 906, 8 million medium-grade spirit stones. There were no more than 20 extraordinary 6th-grade experts in the entire Holy See town. However, these extraordinary 6th-grade experts would definitely fight for a transcendent 6th-grade medicinal pill. 8 million medium-grade spirit stones was equivalent to the annual turnover of the 3 largest shops, the Life and Death Pill Workshop, the Saint Item Forging Workshop, and the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop. 8 million middle-grade spirit stones wasn't a lot in the entire Holy See town. However, this young man had taken out 8 million middle-grade spirit stones in one go. A poor kid. A foolish fellow. Looking at the 8 million middle-grade spirit stones that were flickering with light, everyone's minds were in a daze. Most of the people in the surroundings had seen the most spirit stones in their entire lives, and these were probably the ones before their eyes. If they were not in the city, everyone would have gone crazy to snatch them. Cough cough, cough cough. Shopkeeper Liu suddenly coughed violently. There was a flash of passion in his eyes as he said, Young master, are you really going to use all of them to buy elixirs? Do you think I'm joking with you? Wang Xian smiled faintly. No. How could this be? Young master, we will immediately prepare whatever elixirs you want to buy. If there isn't enough in the shop, we will immediately go to other shops to get them. Shopkeeper Liu waved his hand quickly and walked up to him with a face full of enthusiasm. He was afraid that Wang Xian was teasing him. Fuck, there were so many spirit stones. As long as he could get this business, it would be equivalent to 2 to 3 years of Fengxian's turnover. So what if he was being ostracized by the other two major forces? In 2 to 3 years, he would have a way to tide over this crisis. Shopkeeper Liu looked at him with excitement and anticipation. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept all the spiritual stones into his interspatial ring. Then, he threw the interspatial ring directly to Shopkeeper Liu. Go in and get the elixirs. When Shopkeeper Liu saw that Wang Xian had thrown the interspatial ring that contained 8 million spiritual stones over, his arm trembled as he hurriedly took it. All right. Young master, what kind of elixirs do you want? We will prepare them for you. Shopkeeper Liu's face was flushed red. Damn it, the other party actually gave him the interspatial ring directly. This business was 100% successful. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. It wasn't that he trusted Shopkeeper Liu, but rather, he trusted Feng Luan. Something had happened in Feng Xian's elixir and weapons workshop. He would help as much as he could. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. This. However, Shopkeeper Qing of the Life and Death Elixir Workshop, the shopkeeper of the Holy Item Forging Workshop, Dao Hen and the rest were completely dumbfounded. They were still ridiculing Shopkeeper Liu earlier on. They even said that the kid was a poor kid who could only buy 2 extraordinary first-level elixirs at most. In an instant, it was a slap in the face. Moreover, it was so loud and clear. Their mockery seemed to be mocking themselves in front of the 8 million spiritual stones. This caused everyone's expressions to change drastically. The real person doesn't show his face. Who would have thought that he actually has so many spirit stones? Oh my god, I really can't believe it. He's too rich. Fuck, after this Feng Xian completes this business, she can completely close the shop for 2 to 3 years. The eyes of everyone around flashed with shock. They looked at shopkeeper Dao Hen Qing and the others, their expressions somewhat mocking. That's right, they were mocking. Shopkeeper Qing and the others' expressions slowly became ugly. She looked at Dao Hen at the side. Dao Hen's one eye flashed with a luster. I said, whoever dares to buy things from the Phoenix Immortal is not giving me face, kid. Dao Hen, I'm warning you. If you dare to threaten our customers, the Life and Death Medicinal Pill Workshop will definitely not be able to protect you. Shopkeeper Liu was instantly enraged when he heard Dao Hen's voice. He turned his head and stared at him coldly. Dao Hen's expression changed slightly when he heard Shopkeeper Liu's angry threat. If he were to say that he had so arrogantly ruined Feng Xian's 8 million middle-grade spirit stones business, he did not dare to guarantee that the forces behind Feng Xian would directly send experts to eliminate him. That was because the benefits this time were too great. Young master, don't worry. If anyone dares to threaten you, I will immediately report this matter to the headquarters. I believe that the headquarters will definitely send experts to eliminate the person who threatened you. Shopkeeper Liu assured Wang Xian forcefully. I believe. Wang Xian smiled faintly and walked straight into the shop. He was not afraid of Dao Hen or the Mirage Sea mercenary group at all. Ao Yaro's current strength was stronger than Wang Xian's. She could definitely fight against Dao Hen. Alright, what kind of pills do you want to buy, young master? Shopkeeper Liu asked respectfully. Someone who could take out 8 million middle-grade spirit stones in one go must be extraordinary. Bring all the elixirs in your shop that can improve your cultivation, Wang Xian said to manager Liu directly. All the elixirs that can improve your cultivation? Good. Manager Liu was slightly surprised. However, he nodded immediately and led him to the back. The elixirs that could improve one's cultivation contained a lot more dragon crystals than those that could detoxify the poison. 8 million spirit stones to buy these elixirs could be exchanged for 5 to 6,000 dragon crystals according to Wang Xian's estimation. 5 to 6,000 dragon crystals was not enough to upgrade Wang Xian, but it was enough to upgrade the group of thorned dragons. At the very least, it would be able to nurture another transcendent level 4 light spike. The rest of them would be able to upgrade to Transcendent Level 3 without any problems. Young man, you have bought so many of our pills. I can make the decision and give you the cheapest price. I can make the decision by giving you a 10% discount. Shopkeeper Liu said to Wang Xian, if this young master wants to buy pills, you can come to me. I will definitely give you the cheapest price. All right. Wang Xian took the bottles of pills and placed them into his interspatial ring. Then, he had an idea and asked, Shopkeeper Liu, may I know what kind of mission your Fengxian has issued in the hiring association? Mission? Manager Liu's face was filled with astonishment. We didn't issue many missions either. There were only 3. Among them, the mission to find the heaven below grass has the highest level. It's a 5-star silver mission. The remaining one is a 4-star bronze mission and a 5-star bronze mission. As Manager Liu spoke, he took out a mission stone plate. Pointing at it, he said, these 3 missions were issued by US. However, these 3 missions were also issued by the Life and Death Elixir Workshop and other small pharmacies. Therefore, we will give them some rewards after we have completed the mission. It's also for them to give us the mission items. Wang Xian nodded his head slowly. All right, goodbye. As he spoke, he walked straight out. Young master, if you need anything in the future, you can come and look for me. Shopkeeper Liu said hurriedly. Don't worry, we will meet soon. Wang Xian waved his hand and walked out. At the entrance, shopkeeper Dao Henqing and the people from the Holy Item Forging Workshop had not left yet. When they saw Wang Xian coming out, they looked extremely embarrassed. It was a business of 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. Hee. Wang Xian smiled faintly and left in a carefree manner. Chapter 907, Target, Gold Mercenary Group. Who is this kid? How could he take out 8 million middle-grade spirit stones? On the street in front of the Phoenix Immortal shop, shopkeeper Qing asked Dao Hen with an embarrassed expression. Dao Hen's eyes flickered with a dark expression, but he didn't say anything. Humph, so what if you take down a huge business? In the future, there will be no place for them in Holy See Town. Shopkeeper Qing snorted coldly with an embarrassed expression and left angrily. When the people from the Holy Item Forging Workshop saw this scene, they raised their eyebrows and returned to their own shop. Dao Hen and the rest of the mercenary group also left, leaving behind the passers-by who were filled with shock and discussion. Mission. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was walking towards his residence, opened the mission stone tray and looked at the missions on it. There were 3 missions issued by the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. They were Bronze 4-star Stargrass, Bronze 5-star Blood Flamestone, and Silver 5-star Skywave Grass. The Stargrass and Skywave Grass were located in the Black Sea area. The Black Sea area was a place that the mercenary group was very keen to visit. The Black Sea area was located 60 kilometers away from the shore of Shanghai Zhonghai. There was a ferocious beast living in this sea area, a jellyfish. It was different from the jellyfish on Earth, but it had a common toxicity. This kind of toxic paralyzing effect was mostly effective. Once it was hit, it would become the jellyfish beast's food. The strength of the jellyfish beast ranged from Transcendent Level 1 to Transcendent Level 5. The teeth, flesh, and poison sacs in the body of the jellyfish beast were all precious items. Therefore, many mercenary groups came here to hunt the jellyfish. Because of the influx of large numbers of mercenary groups, the Transcendent Rank 2 and Rank 3 detoxification pills quickly ran out. The lack of detoxification pills resulted in fewer mercenary groups entering the Black Sea area. And with fewer mercenary groups, naturally, the ingredients for detoxification pills and other spiritual herbs growing in the Black Sea area became more difficult to obtain, resulting in the current situation where detoxification pills were rare. Even all the pill stores in the entire Holy See Town did not have the detoxification pill. This was also the reason why the Life and Death Pill Workshop had made an early move after learning that the Sand Sea Mercenary Group had obtained the Heaven Below Grass. Currently, a group of Draconids has gone to other towns to develop the market of the Dragon Assassin organization. If we want to increase our strength in a short period of time, we'll need other method. The fastest way to complete a mission is to devour the aquatic creatures. At the same time, we can complete the mission and obtain resources. Killing two birds with one stone. Wang Xian was deep in thought as he searched for all the missions related to the Black Sea. Currently, he still had a system mission that he had yet to complete. That was to upgrade to a silver mercenary group. Upon upgrading to a silver mercenary group, one would obtain extraordinary items randomly. After returning to their residence, a group of members of the Dragon Palace were cultivating in the courtyard. The strength of the Golden Swordfish clan was much weaker compared to the Thorn Dragon. The only thing they could do now was to fight a powerhouse one level higher than them. Out of the 11 Golden Swordfish, only Ao Jian and 2 or 3 others had reached the 3rd level of Extraordinary while the rest were at the 2nd level of Extraordinary. Wang Xian entered the room and swallowed all the elixirs into his stomach, turning them into dragon crystals. Nearly 7,000 dragon crystals. It's a little more than I expected. Wang Xian thought to himself and immediately called the group of strange demons over. The strange demons had evolved into the light-pricking dragon species. They could assassinate enemies that were 2 levels higher than them. Wang Xian had to raise their strength first. Very soon, when Wang Xian upgraded all the strange demons to extraordinary level 3, he spent a total of 3,900 dragon crystal. It was a huge deviation from their budget. He thought that he could create an extraordinary level 4, but in the end, he didn't have enough dragon crystals. To upgrade a strange demon to extraordinary level 4, he needed 3,000 dragon crystals. Hence, the remaining 2,000 dragon crystals were used to upgrade all the golden swordfish to extraordinary level 3. Although it was a huge deviation from the budget, it was totally worth it. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the group of Dragon Palace members and revealed a smile. Within a short period of time, there were 32 Dragon Palace members including Ao Jianao. Golden Swordfish, 11 of them were at Transcendent Level 3. Strange Demon, 20 of them were at Transcendent Level 3, and 1 of them was at Transcendent Level 4. Wang Xian's strength was at Transcendent Level 3. This was his entire force at the moment. Due to the uniqueness of the Divine Dragon bloodline, they had the ability to fight against opponents of a higher level. Ao Demon, who was the strongest, could fight against a level 7 extraordinaire. Wang Xian, on the other hand, could fight against a level 6 extraordinaire. A group of light spikes could fight against a level 5 extraordinaire. Golden Swordfish could fight against a level 4 extraordinaire. This force was extremely strong in Shanghai town. It could definitely be ranked in the top 5. Let's go. Let's go and carry out our mission. The Dragon Assassin organization has already become famous in Shanghai town. Next, it's time for the Fairy Phoenix mercenary group. The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly as he led the group of members of the Dragon Palace out. The Dogfish mercenary group had been annihilated. Bei Qianjun and Qinggu Cliff had also been assassinated. Now, there were no more obstacles in Shanghai town. The group walked out of the city. Hey, is that the young man? However, just as Wang Xian reached the door, a surprised voice came from the side. Wang Xian's heart stirred slightly as he looked to the side. Race, human. Good and evil - 15. Strength, level 5 extraordinary. Weakness, the second rib on the waist, eyes. His gaze landed on a middle-aged man. Instantly, a figure appeared in his mind. The ability of the Dark Fire Dragon Eye was an extremely powerful ability. Through the Dark Fire Dragon Eye, he was able to see a person's good and evil. Good and evil came from the ability of the Heart of Light and Darkness. Being able to see a person's strength came from the ability of the Eye of the Heavenly Dragon. Being able to see a person's weakness came from the ability of the Piercing Pupil. All sorts of abilities overlapped together, forming the powerful eye technique of today. There were more than 10 people beside the middle-aged man. They were fully armed and were also walking towards the wilderness. Obviously, they were also carrying out a mission. On their chests, there was a badge. Mirage Sea Mercenary Group, 5-star silver rank. It's that young man from this morning who took out 8 million. Beside the middle-aged man, a young man's eyes flickered as he said in a low voice. That's right. However, from the looks of it, they seem to have left the city. A 2-star bronze rank mercenary group. Hey. A skinny woman licked her lips and tightened her grip on the saber. Captain and the rest are looking for information on this young man now. Hihi, let's go. Let's follow them. The middle-aged man in the middle had a greedy look on his face as he said softly. Wang Xian sensed the gazes of everyone. He smiled and continued to walk out. As long as you dare to come over, I will make you into the nourishment of the dragon pool, Wang Xian thought to himself. He walked straight out of the city gate and flew towards the Black Sea. His speed was not very fast, and he did not hide anything at all. Wang Xian could easily notice a group of more than 10 people following behind him. 40 minutes later, Wang Xian and the rest arrived at a sea area. The sea water was ink-colored with some weak toxins. This sea area was the edge of the Black Sea. The entire Black Sea area occupied an area of 70 to 80 kilometers. Chapter 908, Someone was courting death. At the edge of the Black Sea, it was usually an extraordinary level 1 or level 2 jellyfish. The more central it was, the stronger the jellyfish was. There was not even a single seabird in the sky above the entire sea area. It seemed a little desolate. There are 10 bronze level missions and 7 silver level missions. Wang Xian looked at the entire Black Sea and revealed a smile. 10 bronze level missions, 5 4-star bronze level missions, and 5 5-star bronze level missions. If they could complete them, the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group would be able to attain 5-star bronze level missions. In addition to the 7 silver level missions, they would be able to attain 2-star silver level and 3-star silver level missions after completing all of them. Such an improvement speed was absolutely terrifying. Let's go in. Wang Xian ignored the group of people who had been following behind them and entered the Black Sea directly. Captain, they entered the Black Sea as well. What a coincidence. At this moment, when they saw Wang Xian and the rest entering the Black Sea, they paused in the air and said with smiles on their faces. That's right. What a coincidence. Manager Chen got us some detoxifying pills from the Life and Death Elixir workshop today. It's perfect. Let's complete a few missions and then play with them, the middle-aged man said with a smile on his face. He moved his body and dived into the sea. Let's go. The poison in the sea has yet to reach the supernatural realm. One will die immediately if they enter the sea. Wang Xian entered the sea and felt the poison inside. He thought to himself. However, as a divine dragon, the poison posed no threat to him. It didn't even pose any threat to the golden swordfish and the rest. In the water, their combat ability would be even stronger. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked around. This is the devil's nest at the bottom of the sea. Wang Xian looked down. The entire area was more than 20,000 meters deep. There seemed to be many mountain ranges below. Many of the mountain ranges at the bottom of the sea had huge holes that looked like the devil's nest at the bottom of the sea. The devil's nest at the bottom of the sea is the nest of the jellyfish. Some of the devil's nests are connected together. The celestial stargrass and the heaven waves grass live in these nests. The celestial stargrass grows above the nest while the heaven waves grass lives inside. Wang Xian recalled the information about the Black Sea and looked at the nests below. The jellyfish lived in these nests that were like demon caves. If they wanted to gain something, they had to enter the demon caves. Or they could lure the jellyfish out. The mercenary group determined the strength of the jellyfish based on the size of the devil's lair. Wang Xian moved his body and flew straight down. When he arrived at this mountain range that was in the middle of the ocean, Wang Xian scanned the surrounding devil's lair. Let's go. Without any hesitation, he flew straight to the nearest devil's lair. When he arrived in front of the demon cave, the entrance of the cave was 2 meters wide. According to the records, it should be a level 2 extraordinary jellyfish. Wang Xian swept his gaze over and his eyes sparkled. No. Not every demon cave had jellyfish. Some of the jellyfish might have been killed and there were no jellyfish living in the nest. With a move, Wang Xian arrived in front of another mountain peak. He looked at the 1-meter-wide demon cave. His gaze swept across the demon cave. 10 meters away from the demon cave, a jellyfish with 6 claws and a gigantic head was lying inside. It was almost 1 meter in size and looked like an armor. Its entire head was covered with densely packed teeth. Boom! Wang Xian's body shook and a wave of divine dragon's pressure covered him directly. Gigi. A terrifying sound came from inside. Wang Xian's heart skipped a beat and the jellyfish immediately appeared in front of him. Hee. Wang Xian smiled. The control of the dragon's pressure was a complete suppression to the water tribe members who were weaker than him. When his strength reached a certain level, the dragons in this world would be able to be controlled directly. You guys go around and hunt the jellyfish. Be careful. Wang Xian looked around and said to the members of the Dragon Palace. In the area of the Black Sea, the most powerful jellyfish was only at Transcendent Level 5. The members of the Dragon Palace could easily deal with it. 1. Wang Xian controlled the jellyfish and immediately flew towards the other demon lair. His speed was very fast. With a sweep of his gaze, he could see if there were any jellyfish inside. Most of the jellyfish at the edge were at the first or second level of the supernatural realm. He unleashed his dragon's might and directly controlled them. Soon, dozens of jellyfish gathered behind Wang Xian. In the surroundings, golden swordfish and strange demons were also killing the jellyfish one by one. With their strength, they were not much slower than Wang Xian. Why are there no signs of the jellyfish in the caves? The detoxification pills have been cut off recently, so there shouldn't be so few jellyfish. Could it be that there are experts here? Also, why did the young man and the rest who entered the water earlier disappear as well? At this moment, the Mirage Sea mercenary group, who was at the back, looked around and asked with an embarrassed expression. They must have realized that there are no jellyfish beasts in the surrounding caves, so they went to the front. Let's speed up. The middle-aged captain pondered and said. He immediately quickened his pace. Boom. At this moment, Wang Xian waved his arm 1,000 meters in front of them. A ball of seawater surrounded an extraordinary level 3 jellyfish. The terrifying water energy entered its body directly. Wang Xian moved his body and turned into a divine dragon to devour it. Ding. Devouring the jellyfish. Extracting 9 dragon crystals. The system's voice rang out. Wang Xian shook his head slowly. Upgrading required 10,000 dragon crystals. A level 3 transcendent could only provide 9 dragon crystals. He needed to devour more than 1,000 level 3 aquatic creatures before he could reach level 4 transcendent. After Wang Xian devoured the jellyfish, he immediately entered the nest of the jellyfish. When a jellyfish reached extraordinary level 3, the things secreted from its body would be able to grow the heaven star grass and heaven billow grass. Wang Xian entered the nest but did not discover anything. He immediately came out. Continue. His body moved and continued to advance forward. The surrounding members of the Dragon Palace were also advancing forward rapidly. One by one, the jellyfish were killed quickly. Some of the members of the Dragon Palace found some heaven star grass and heaven billow grass inside. Boom. Wang Xian waved his arm and a huge dragon claw condensed in the seawater. He killed an extraordinary level 3 jellyfish. He had a thought and kept it into his interspatial ring. He entered the ring and saw a heaven billow grass in the depths of the ring. He smiled. The Black Sea area with a radius of 70 to 80 kilometers can be easily defeated. Wang Xian revealed a confident expression. Haha, you're quite fast, huh? It seems like you've made some gains. At this moment, a voice came from the side. Wang Xian quickly looked over. You're really courting death. Chapter 909, was easily killed. 10,000 meters under the sea, in front of an underwater mountain, a group of more than 10 people stood in front of a devil den. At the entrance of the devil den, a golden swordfish stood there, expressionlessly staring at the dozen people in front of it. Hee. I really don't know why a small 2-star bronze mercenary group has so many spiritual stones. The woman next to the middle-aged captain sized up the golden swordfish. Are your other members nearby? Call them over. The middle-aged captain revealed a greedy look. A 2-star bronze mercenary group and a young captain who could take out 8 million spirit stones. Perhaps this mercenary group and that young man weren't simple, but after seeing their strength, greed rose in their hearts. The group of young men holding longswords only had the strength of a rank 3 transcendent, so what was there to be afraid of? To be able to reach this step, They not only possessed courage, but also decisiveness. My companions are all around. They heard your voice just now, they should be rushing over soon. The golden swordfish looked around and said to the group of over 10 people with a smile. Are you very confident? The middle-aged captain saw the expression of the golden swordfish and narrowed his eyes slightly. He swept his gaze around and gestured to the people around him. The members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group nodded slowly and dispersed. Mirage Sea mercenary group, do we have any enmity with you? Wang Xian walked over and swept his gaze across all of them as he asked expressionlessly. At this moment, the golden swordfish in the surroundings also flew over and stared at all of them with an expressionless face. The middle-aged captain didn't say anything. He sized up Wang Xian and the rest again and again before he slowly narrowed his eyes. There's no enmity, the middle-aged captain said with a smile. Then why are you surrounding our team members? Wang Xian smiled when he saw how vigilant they were. As expected of a seasoned mercenary group. They didn't even make a move under such circumstances. Attack! All of a sudden, the middle-aged captain moved and gave the order to attack Wang Xian. It's really. Wang Xian shook his head slowly when he saw their attack. PFFFT. 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 The sound of penetration was heard. The expression of the middle-aged captain who had just leaped up changed drastically. When he turned his head around, a terrifying white figure appeared beside his subordinate. A weapon as sharp as a sickle directly killed them. Pu. Before he could react, a sharp claw directly pierced through his body, causing his eyes to widen as he looked at the smiling youth. This kind of creature. The spirit stones on his body, could it be? Suddenly, before his death, a thought flashed across the middle-aged man's mind. Following that, he widened his eyes. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The Dragon Assassin Organization. He widened his eyes and growled in a low voice with a face full of shock. Following his words, blood kept spurting out of his mouth. Wang Xian moved his arm and stored their corpses into his interspatial ring. These were rare nutrients. Let's go, let's continue. Clean up this area within 5 days, Wang Xian said to the members of the Dragon Palace before returning to his original position. Wang Xian did not care about the more than 10 people from the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Since they were seeking death, Wang Xian would not be merciful either. They continued to advance forward. With Wang Xian and the rest's abilities, their speed was extremely fast. It had been 2 to 3 years since many mercenary groups had come to the Black Sea region. This caused the number of jellyfish to increase. There were quite a number of celestial stargrass and heaven billowgrass. I wonder how the mercenary groups will react when they discover that there are no jellyfish when the celestial stargrass and heaven billowgrass are available in Shanghai town. Wang Xian smiled when he thought of this. However, this didn't have much of an impact. Both the celestial stargrass and the heaven billowgrass were used for detoxification and detoxification. They could be used in many places, not just in the Black Sea region. Wang Xian and the rest were very fast. Within 2 days, they had swept across an area of more than 20 kilometers. It was only on the 3rd day when they were close to the central region that their speed slowed down. It's going to be troublesome now. Wang Xian looked ahead. In front of him was an endless mountain range. The demon caves in the mountain range were no longer just a dozen meters or 20 to 30 meters deep like before. Here, the demon caves were completely connected together. They were densely packed like a demon palace. The entrance of each cave was about 4 to 5 meters in size. There were jellyfish beasts of supernatural level 4 and 5 living inside. No wonder there are no extraordinary level 6 or 7 experts to clean up the Black Sea. The jellyfish beasts here can make a fortune. Wang Xian entered the Devil's Cave and looked at the passageways that extended in all directions. He raised his eyebrows. The entire mountain range was completely cleared. He had no idea how many jellyfish beasts were inside. Moreover, even if Ao Yao Yao entered, she would feel dizzy inside. This was not a problem of perception. There were simply too many passageways. It seems like Ao Yao and Ao Jian can only stay behind me. Wang Xian had the light and dark fire dragon eyes. With the penetration of the eye of the heavenly dragon, he could push forward directly. Even so, he still had to mark the road. Let's go. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the area and noticed that there were 4 to 5 jellyfish beasts gathered at a distance of more than 500 meters. He moved his body and rushed over immediately. From the perspective of the dragon eyes of light and dark fire, it was a distance of 500 meters. However, there were a few caves that needed to be circled. In fact, the distance was more than 500 meters. When Wang Xian and the rest got closer, the 5 jellyfish that were lying on the ground instantly stood up vigilantly. Out of the 5 jellyfish, 3 of them were nearly 4 meters in size while the rest were more than 2 meters in size. Chirp! Chirp! The largest jellyfish in the middle let out a low growl. The other 4 jellyfish instantly attacked Wang Xian and the rest. PFFFT! 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 However, in an instant, streams of white light flashed and the 4 jellyfish were instantly killed. Chirp! Chirp! When the other jellyfish saw the rapid death of its companion, a look of fear appeared in its eyes. It opened its mouth and a thick, ink-colored poisonous fog directly covered Wang Xian and the rest. Meanwhile, this jellyfish was fleeing frantically towards the back. If you can't beat it, then run. Even if it's a ferocious beast, it will still possess powerful instincts when its level is higher. Wang Xian looked at the escaping jellyfish. He raised his eyebrows and moved his arm. A thorny bush emerged from the ground and completely wrapped around its body. Bang! The thorny bush entered the body of the jellyfish and easily killed it. Let's go, continue. Wang Xian moved his body and walked forward again, leaving marks in the places he passed by. The members of the Dragon Palace were observing the star grass and the heaven billow grass. Chapter 9-10 returned with a full load. The appearance of the labyrinth-like demonic cave caused Wang Xian to slow down completely. Moreover, most of the jellyfish in the labyrinth were in groups. Every level 5 extraordinary jellyfish had 20 to 30 underlings. Once they sensed danger, they would immediately flee. Although the strongest jellyfish here was only level 5 extraordinary, it was extremely difficult to hunt them down. In this narrow area, even a level 5 extraordinaire would have a high chance of dying. Even a level 6 extraordinaire would be restricted by the surrounding rocks here. This was a place where low-level mercenary groups hunted ferocious beasts, but it was not an ideal place for a powerful mercenary group. There are actually 3 level 5 extraordinaire jellyfish beasts gathered together. There are more than 50 level 3 and 4 extraordinaire jellyfish beasts. When Wang Xian stayed in the maze for 2 days, he suddenly saw a densely populated area. There were 3 extraordinary level 5 jellyfish. Heaven billow grass. There are so many heaven billow grass. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and his eyes lit up. Currently, Wang Xian had obtained a total of more than 100 heaven billow grass. However, there were at least 50 to 60 heaven billow grass in the area in front of him. After collecting these heaven billow grass, I will leave this place, Wang Xian thought to himself. There were not many sea jelly beasts in this dark demon lair. Furthermore, there were too many passageways in the surroundings that gave him a headache. In 2 days, they had only killed about 70 to 80 sea jelly beasts. Among them, many of them were at the 2nd level of transcendence. Therefore, there was no need for them to stay here any longer. Furthermore, Wang Xian and the rest had already kept the items for the mission. Kill. Wang Xian pointed with his arm. The group of strange beasts immediately hid themselves and came to the group of jellyfish beasts lying on the ground. The highest level of strength was at level 5 transcendence. Under the attacks of Ao Yarrow and the rest, they were completely defenseless. After storing all the jellyfish beasts' corpses into his interspatial ring, Wang Xian looked at the heaven waves grass in front of him. There were a total of 63 heavens wave grass of extraordinary 4th level. The heavens wave grass, heaven star grass, and the carcasses of the ferocious beasts in Wang Xian's possession were worth over 1 million middle-grade spirit stones. To other mercenary groups, this was something unimaginable. For example, the Horned Shark mercenary group was so powerful that it would require a huge amount of energy to kill a level 5 extraordinary horned snake. The huge horned snake was brought to the Holy Sea town and caused a huge commotion. Ferocious beasts and demonic beasts were not easy to kill. Not to mention killing a level 5 extraordinary ferocious beast and searching for spiritual herbs in Wang Xian's current environment. Even if Dao Hen, the #1 mercenary group in the Holy See town, brought all his members here, their harvest might not even be 1/10 of Wang Xian's. This was even under the circumstances where Dao Hen was personally involved. Let's go. Without any hesitation, Wang Xian led the members of the Dragon Palace out of the Demon Den and headed in the direction of Shanghai Town. After successfully returning to Shanghai Town, Wang Xian headed towards the Demon Hunters Association with a smile on his face. One could pass through the mission stone plate if they accepted the mission. However, they had to go to the Demon Hunters Association if they handed in the mission. There would be many people in the Demon Hunters Association every day. The number of people in the association today was much more than usual. Wang Xian and the rest went in. They were curious when they saw many people queuing up to submit the mission. After listening for a while, they realized that it was a mercenary group from Donghai City. Every few months, the merchants of Donghai Town would gather together and hire more than a dozen mercenary groups to come to Shanghai Town to deliver supplies. This resulted in a group of mercenary groups submitting missions together every time. Wang Xian was waiting in line while a group of members of the Dragon Palace stood at the side. The mission this time is really dangerous. The strength of those bandits is beyond imagination. FUCK, if Boss hadn't made a breakthrough not long ago, we might have died here. After submitting the mission this time, we should be able to advance to a 2-star Silver Star mercenary group. Hee. A 2-star silver mercenary group can be ranked in the top 40 in our academy. I'm so tired. After handing in the mission, hurry up and find a place to rest. At this time, another group of people came to the mercenary group and began to talk loudly. This group of people was not very old. They were all young people. They were talking loudly, but there was a proud look on their faces. Such a long line. It was obviously their first time in Holy See Town. When they saw 7 or 8 mercenary groups lining up, they were surprised. When we reach the gold mercenary group, if there is no gold mercenary group in front, we can directly cut the line, a young man said with some yearning. Reaching the gold mercenary group was a watershed. When a mercenary group reached the gold level, the minimum must be a transcendent level 6 powerhouse. At this level, when one was handing in the mission, they could directly cut the queue when there were mercenary groups below the gold level at the front. This was the privilege of a powerhouse. A 2-star bronze mercenary group? Hee, look around. Most of the mercenary groups in Shanghai Town are bronze level. There aren't many gold level ones at all. Haha, after all, this is a small town. Our 1-star silver level mercenary group is considered pretty good here. The group of people came to the back of Wang Xian and said with a smile when they saw the mercenary group on Wang Xian and the rest. Brother, can you give us some space? We are in a hurry. At this moment, Wang Xian felt a palm placed on his shoulder and the voice from behind was heard. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and moved the young man's hand away. He turned around and said, I'm sorry, we are also in a hurry. Wang Xian's words made the young men unhappy. What? You don't agree? Wang Xian smiled faintly and ignored them. Humph, a small 2-star bronze mercenary group. We are talking to you guys properly, yet you don't give us any face. A young man saw Wang Xian turning around, and his eyes revealed a hint of coldness. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and flicked his finger. The golden needle formed from metal attribute pierced directly toward Wang Xian's back. Buzz. Wang Xian sensed the small movement behind him and a golden light flashed across his back. Ah! A scream came out from the young man's mouth. He covered his arm with an embarrassed expression. What's going on? Everyone in the hall turned around immediately when they heard the young man's scream. They looked over in astonishment. Kid, you actually dared to sneak attack me. One of the young man's palms was covered in blood. He stared at Wang Xian with a gloomy expression. I know who is going to sneak attack who. Wang Xian glanced at the young man indifferently and said with slight disdain. You're courting death. The young man covered his wound and stared at Wang Xian coldly. No one is allowed to make a move in the hiring association. At this moment, The cold voice of the guard came from the side. Chapter 9:11. Who is trash? When the young man saw the guard staring at him coldly not far away, he looked a little embarrassed. Obviously, he knew that the guard had noticed his small actions just now. A few young men at the side winked at him, telling him not to stir up trouble. HMPH, a 2-star bronze rank trash mercenary group. You better not let me find a chance. The young man stared at Wang Xian coldly. His tone was filled with threat. How dare a 1-star silver mercenary group act so impudently? Ao Jian, who was at the side, heard the young man's insult and stared at him coldly. That's right. It's just a 1-star silver mercenary group. You don't have the right to talk about others like that. Suddenly, a girl came from behind. Several young men turned their heads with gloomy faces and looked at the girl who spoke. The girl was in her 20s and 30s. Her looks were average, but she had short hair. She looked valiant. She wore a leather armor with bloodstains on it. The mercenary group badge on the girl's chest was a 4-star silver mercenary group. The girl spoke with hatred. Cough. We are students of the Demon Hunters Academy. The mercenary group is only 1-star silver mercenary group now, but it won't be long before we can reach gold rank. The young man looked at the girl and said with a sullen face. So you are students of the Demon Hunters Academy. My daughter is not sensible. Please don't mind her. I apologize on behalf of my daughter. A middle-aged man next to the girl heard the words of the young men and his expression changed slightly. He quickly said to the young men, "Humph." The young men snorted coldly. They were too embarrassed to argue with a girl. The female student was a little indignant and wanted to say something, but she was stopped by the middle-aged man. When the female student suddenly opened her mouth, the group of young men became embarrassed and stopped talking. They waited quietly. The speed of handing in the mission wasn't very fast. Wang Xian waited in line for half an hour before it was his turn. After handing over the badge of the mercenary group, Wang Xian said directly, "Hand in the mission." The waiter took the mercenary group badge and checked the mission that Wang Xian had accepted. "Hey, bring me the mission item." The waiter looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. "All right." Wang Xian handed over an interspatial ring. The waiter took the interspatial ring and opened his eyes wide. "Sir, please wait for a moment. I will count it for you." The waiter was shocked and his tone was filled with respect. "Please hurry up. Why is the speed here so slow?" The waiter took the interspatial ring for about 2 minutes. A few young men at the back urged him in annoyance, "How many missions can a 2-star bronze mercenary group take? Why is it so slow?" The waiter raised his head and looked at the young men at the back coldly. Then, he looked at Wang Xian with a smile and said, "Sir, your mercenary group has been upgraded. I will change your badge for you." "All right." Wang Xian nodded and passed all the badges to him. He reminded him, overlapping missions. Priority is given to Phoenix Immortal Pills and Weapons Workshop. "All right." The waiter nodded and said, "Sir, please wait for a moment." "Sure." Wang Xian nodded his head faintly and walked to the side to wait. "It's finally our turn." The few young men at the back glanced at Wang Xian coldly and muttered. They walked forward and threw their badges over. "Hand in the mission." The waiter nodded his head lightly. He checked the badge and muttered softly, "You're still so arrogant after completing a 3-star silver grade mission." "Huh." Obviously, all the extraordinary experts present could hear it clearly. This caused the expressions of the few young men to turn ugly. They asked in a low voice, "After completing this mission, you should be able to advance to 2-star silver rank, right?" "Yes, bring the badge over. I'll exchange it for you," the attendant said indifferently. "Hurry up." The few young men urged impatiently. "We can't." This female attendant might have had her period, or she might have seen that they were a little annoyed, so she directly rebuked them. "That gentleman has completed 10 missions. Now, he can even wait to advance to 3-star silver tier. Why are you all in such a hurry?" the attendant said sarcastically. "What?" The young man was slightly taken aback and his face was full of astonishment. "You guys, you should keep a low profile, understand?" At this moment, a staff member inside handed the newly made badge to the attendant. The The staff member took it and patted the badge in his hand. He glanced at them and looked at Wang Xian. "Sir, your badge is ready." "Thank you." Wang Xian nodded with a smile on his face. "No need, no need." The staff member quickly smiled and said. Then, he looked at the few young men with a straight face. "Look, they are a 3-star silver mercenary group." "What? How is this possible?" He was clearly a 2-star bronze star just now. The few young men were stunned. They widened their eyes in disbelief. How is this not possible? He handed in 5 4-star bronze star missions directly. 5 5-star bronze star missions, 3 5-star silver star missions, and 2 4-star silver star missions. "Humph, quickly move aside and wait at the side," the waiter said impatiently to the few young men. Wang Xian passed the badges to the golden swordfish and the rest. He played with them for a while and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He looked at the few young men mockingly. "It's only a 2-star silver mission, trash," he said faintly and wore the badges on his chest. His contemptuous tone and mocking behavior made the few young men's faces extremely awkward. Just a moment ago, they had mocked the other party for being only a 2-star bronze mercenary group, but damn it, they actually advanced to 3-star silver in an instant. This was simply flying. How could a mercenary group advance so quickly? Their mercenary group was a mercenary group created by the Academy's 50th strongest person. It took them 3 years to reach 2-star silver. However, the other party actually surpassed them in an instant. Furthermore, they actually completed the mission of 5-star silver grade. 5-star silver grade. They had to hunt at least level 5 supernatural beasts and demonic beast. Haha, how interesting. At this moment, the laughter of the girls could be heard from the side. The faces of the few young men changed drastically. They lowered their heads in shame. Wang Xian didn't bother with the few young men. He could just slap them in the face. There was no need to bother with this bunch of clowns. The mission reward was placed in his interspatial ring. There was no problem with that. Wang Xian, right? Just as Wang Xian walked to the door, shadows blocked his way. 20 to 30 people blocked the entrance and stared at them coldly. Wang Xian raised his head and stared at the group of people in front of him with a twinkle in his eyes. "The Mirage Sea mercenary group. They are blocking our way. I wonder what's going on." Wang Xian raised his head slightly and looked at the old man who was standing in the middle. He was the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. "We are a small team. 5 days ago, they contacted us for the last time. At that time, they bumped into you guys. I want to ask about their current situation." The leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group stared at Wang Xian expressionlessly. Chapter 9:12, completed the mission. "Huh? What's the situation with the Mirage Sea mercenary group? The leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group is here personally. What is he trying to do by stopping those young men?" When the surrounding people saw the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group blocking the entrance of the mercenary group and Wang Xian and the rest, they were bewildered. Wang Xian stared at the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. There was no expression on his face as he asked indifferently, "Why did the members of your mercenary group bump into us? Furthermore, they have the time to contact you guys. I'm asking you a question." A cold glint flashed across the eyes of the leader of the illusionary sea mercenary group. His gaze was fixed on Wang Xian. "I'm asking you a question too." Wang Xian stared at the old man without showing any signs of weakness. This scene caused everyone around to be slightly stunned. Their faces were filled with astonishment. How dare they go against the illusionary sea mercenary group? What are their identities? The Illusionary Sea Mercenary Group is a reputable group in our Holy See town. Not many people dare to provoke them. Who is that young man? Some people around looked at Wang Xian and the rest in astonishment. Wang Xian had only been in Holy See town for less than half a month. Although there were a few sensational incidents, not many people knew him. "Kid, I think you are courting death." A strong murderous intent shot out from the eyes of the leader of Huan Hai. In an instant, the surrounding air seemed to freeze. "The person who is courting death is already dead." Wang Xian smiled faintly. With a flick of his finger, a corpse appeared on the ground. The corpse was the middle-aged leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. At this moment, his eyes were wide open and filled with fear. The corpse that appeared out of thin air stunned everyone. This was especially so for the members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Their eyes were instantly bloodshot as they stared at the corpse on the ground with an extremely embarrassed expression. Whoosh! Wang Xian waved his arm and kept the corpse back into his interspatial ring. A smile appeared on his face as he said, "Excuse me, please step aside. Kid, I think you want to die." An angry roar came from the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. The members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group beside him also had cold expressions on their faces as they gripped their weapons tightly. Those who are looking for death are already dead. Those who want to die, I think they are going to die soon. Wang Xian stared coldly at the leader of the Illusionary Sea mercenary group and the rest of the members. They were going head-to-head with each other. He did not show any signs of weakness. Hiss, what was that just now? That seems to be Xiu Hanshan's corpse. It can't be. Xiu Hanshan, a level 5 extraordinaire, was killed. He is one of the only 3 level 5 extraordinaires in the Illusionary Sea mercenary group. When the surrounding people saw the corpse just now, they were shocked. They looked at Wang Xian and the rest in astonishment. The atmosphere was a little tense. Get out of the way. Wang Xian looked at the group of people who were filled with killing intent and said coldly, "Brat, just you wait. If I don't kill you, I will have wasted my dozens of years in Shanghai town." The leader of the Illusory Sea mercenary group, Xiu Chenshan, stared at Wang Xian coldly. He. Wang Xian smiled disdainfully and walked straight ahead. The members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group opened a path and stared at all of them with bloodthirsty eyes. Who is that young man? Why is he so confident? A 3-star silver mercenary group, the Phoenix mercenary group. This is the first time I've heard of it. The surrounding people looked at the badges on Wang Xian and the rest and exclaimed in surprise. 3-star silver mercenary group? Xiu Chenshan's gaze froze slightly. When Captain Han Shan replied with the communication stone plate, he said that the other party was only a 2-star bronze grade. Why did he suddenly become a 3-star silver grade? An old man from the Mirage Sea mercenary group said with a solemn expression. A 3-star silver grade mercenary group must have an extraordinary level 5 powerhouse. However, it was unbelievable for the other party to advance to 3-star silver grade so quickly. Their Mirage Sea's 5-star silver rank took more than 30 years. With the level of the mercenary group, they could only advance after completing 10 missions of the same level. However, if one mission failed, 2 mission points would be deducted. Once they failed, the previous 2 successful missions would all be nullified. Moreover, if a mercenary group failed too many times, they would lose their level. This was also the reason why a 5-star silver grade mercenary group took more than 30 years. For example, Wang Xian's Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was completely different. They possessed the combat strength of a level 7 supernatural being. The average level 5 supernatural being would naturally increase their level very quickly. At the later stages, their speed would slow down. Of course, this was only relative. With the speed at which Wang Xian and the rest increased their strength, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group would soon reach the gold grade. After clashing with the Mirage Sea mercenary group, Wang Xian walked straight to the Celestial Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop. When he arrived at the entrance of the Celestial Phoenix shop, he realized that there was no one inside. Yesterday, the threat from Dao Hen and the involvement of the Mirage Sea mercenary group made the mercenary group of Shanghai Town not dare to come to the Celestial Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop to shop. Today, the entire shop was completely empty. "Young master, I didn't expect it to be you. Would you like to buy some elixirs?" When Wang Xian walked into the shop, the staff in front of him was slightly stunned and asked respectfully, "Buy some elixirs. Where's shopkeeper Liu?" "Shopkeeper Liu is at the back. I'll call for him immediately," a middle-aged man behind the counter said hurriedly and walked to the back quickly. "Young master, are you going to buy some elixirs again?" Shopkeeper Liu walked out and asked Wang Xian with a face full of anticipation. "Yes, an elixir that costs 500,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian nodded his head directly and took out the remaining Heaven Star Grass and Heaven Billow Grass after the mission. Also, I have some Heaven Star Grass and Heaven Billow Grass in my hands. Please calculate the price. Heaven Billow Grass. Manager Liu's eyes lit up and revealed an excited look. Young master, we are willing to buy it at 1.5 times the market price. Thank you, young master. Wang Xian waved his hand. Change it into elixirs that can improve your cultivation. Yes, yes. Manager Liu nodded his head quickly and his face was flushed. It was another deal that was close to 1 million middle-rated spirit stones. Although it was far from the previous deal, it was still a huge deal. Furthermore, after this deal ended, some of the elixirs in Shanghai town were about to run out of stock. To buy 70% of the elixirs in the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop by himself, it was a terrifying thought. Young master, please take a look. Wang Xian received the elixirs that Manager Liu handed over. After checking them, he was very satisfied. Manager Liu was obviously not a short-sighted person. He had offered a huge discount on both purchases. Wang Xian brought along a medicinal pill worth 1 million middle-grade spirit stones and walked towards his residence. After digesting these medicinal pills, the strength of the strange demon and the golden swordfish could be improved considerably. This young master seems to be called Wang Xian. I don't know why he helped our Fengxian medicinal pill and weapon workshop so much. His strength is really strong. He came twice and bought 9 million medicinal pills. Shopkeeper Liu's eyes flickered as he watched Wang Xian leave. Ding. Congratulations to host for advancing to a silver-level mercenary group. Activate the reward. Chapter 913, Diamond-level monsters were attacking the city. Ding. Congratulations to host for obtaining the Light and Shadow Barrier. Light and Shadow Barrier, Transcendent Level 8 formation. Function. Set up a barrier to trap the enemy and protect yourself. Ding. The second phase mission of the mercenary group has been activated. You have been promoted to a gold-level mercenary group. You will be rewarded with a random transcendent item. When Wang Xian was walking on the road, the system's voice suddenly rang out, causing Wang Xian to be slightly stunned. An extraordinary level 8 formation. Not bad, not bad. It can withstand an attack from an extraordinary level 8. Furthermore, after upgrading to a gold-tier mercenary group, you will be able to obtain an extraordinary item at random. Wang Xian was full of smiles. If this light and shadow barrier was used properly, it would have a great effect. When he returned to his residence, Wang Xian took out an elixir and swallowed it directly, obtaining more than 800 dragon crystals. More than 800 dragon crystals were not enough to increase the strength of the members of the Dragon Palace. They could only continue to accumulate. Following that, Wang Xian took out the mission stone plate and prepared to search for another place to complete the mission to increase his strength. This time, he was prepared to choose a place where the level of the ferocious beasts was higher. For low-level aquatic creatures, the amount of dragon crystals they obtained after swallowing them was too little. It was too slow to increase their level. However, just as Wang Xian was looking for a mission, in the most luxurious restaurant in Shanghai town, a young man was sitting next to a woman with a fawning expression. The woman was wearing the tight-fitting uniform of a city guard. However, it was this uniform that made the young man's eyes burn with passion. Beside the young man, there were more than a dozen young men sitting next to him. A few of them were the few people who were mocking Wang Xian in the hiring association. Liu Yang, when are you going back to school? I'll go with you. I'll be able to take care of you on the way back. The young man poured a cup of tea for the girl with a flattering look and said with a smile. Let's set off 5 days before school starts. There's still half a month's time. Jin Liuyang said to the young man calmly. Oh, is that so? It just so happens that we'll be staying here for a period of time as well. It's our first time coming to Shanghai town. We'll go to Donghai City together, the young man said with a smile. Jin Liuyang hesitated for a moment and nodded. There are still some classmates in Holy See town. Let's go together. Okay. The young man nodded. Okay. At this moment, Jin Liuyang was suddenly shocked and hurriedly took out the communication stone plate from her pocket. Her communication stone plate was different from the ordinary one. Obviously, it was much more advanced. At this moment, the communication stone plate was emitting light. Not good. When Jin Liuyang opened the communication stone plate and saw the words on it, her expression changed drastically and she suddenly stood up. What happened? The young man at the side saw Jin Liuyang suddenly stand up and asked with a stunned expression. Don't leave the city. I'll go to the watchtower. Jin Liuyang immediately walked towards the window of the restaurant. Liuyang, what happened? Can I help? Seeing that Jin Liuyang was about to fly out, the young man frowned and hurriedly asked. Monster siege. Without turning back, Jin Liuyang flew toward a watchtower in Holy See Town. Monster siege. Hearing these words, the young man's face changed dramatically. The dozen or so young men beside him were also stunned. A monster siege. They cried out in surprise, and a hint of fear appeared in their eyes. Dong dong dong. At this moment, the bell suddenly rang throughout the entire Holy See Town, and the rapid bell chimes echoed in everyone's hearts. What happened? What's going on? Why did the bell of the faraway watchtower suddenly ring? Not good, something bad has happened. When everyone in Holy See Town heard the bell, their expressions changed drastically, and their eyes revealed shock. Holy See Town, all mercenary groups, all cultivators above Transcendent Level 1, be on alert. The monsters are about to attack the city. At this moment, a majestic voice covered the entire Holy See Town and entered everyone's ears. When everyone heard this voice, their expressions changed drastically. It's the mayor's voice. Monsters are attacking the city. Oh my God, monsters are attacking the city. Monsters are attacking the city. What level of monsters are attacking the city? They actually made the mayor take precautions personally. The monster attack this time isn't simple. I hope it's not a powerful monster. In an instant, the entire Holy See Town was in chaos. The weak citizens prayed with pale faces. A monster siege, a terrifying monster siege. For everyone, the biggest disaster was a monster siege. In the Transcendence continent, many cities were destroyed by the monster siege and turned into ruins. Countless experts died under the monster siege. Once the city was breached, at least 1 million people would die. The sudden siege of the city caused everyone to look terrified. Diamond-level monsters are attacking the city. Everyone, don't panic. The mercenary will start the mission to defend the city. At this moment, the voice from earlier sounded again, comforting the panicked people. Diamond-level monsters are attacking the city. Fortunately, with the mayor's presence, we should be able to resist them. Phew, a diamond-level monster attacking the city shouldn't be too much of a problem. A diamond-level monster is still a little dangerous. Come, let's go to the position of the city wall. The mission to defend the city has begun. Haha, as long as we defend Holy See Town and kill the murderer demon beasts, we will be able to obtain a huge amount of resources to increase the level of the mercenary group. Some of them heaved a sigh of relief and followed closely behind the mercenary group and the city wall. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was in his room, was slightly taken aback when he heard this majestic voice. A monster siege. A diamond-level monster siege. He was slightly taken aback and immediately stood up. His eyes were sparkling. A monster siege was not very rare on the Transcendence continent, especially for the town of Shanghai, which was located by the sea. It happened once every few years. Compared to the safer town, the mayor's strength was around Transcendent level rank 8. Only a special city like Holy See Town was at Transcendent level rank 9. Every time a monster attacked a city, a lot of employees would die. However, every time a monster attacked a city, it was an opportunity for any mercenary group. As long as it was not a destructive monster siege, they could kill a large number of fierce beasts and demon beasts with the advantage of the city wall. The corpses of these demonic beasts and murderers were treasures. Let's go. It will be difficult for diamond-level monsters to destroy the Holy See Town. This monster feast is our chance to improve our strength quickly. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he immediately ordered the members of the Dragon Palace. It's the Dragon King. A group of members of the Dragon Palace followed behind Wang Xian and headed towards the city walls. There were 4 city gates in Shanghai town. Only the south gate of the east gate was closer to the seaside. Wang Xian headed straight for the east gate. On the way, Wang Xian opened the mission stone tablet. At this moment, there was no mission on the mission stone tablet. There was a line of words in the middle. The mission to defend the city was about to begin. Chapter 9:14. Diamond-grade monsters were attacking the city. The mission to defend the city was about to begin. The rest of the missions had been eliminated. During the special time, the main mission was to defend the city. Wang Xian and the rest rushed towards the east gate. There were also many mercenary groups rushing towards the east gate. The entire street was filled with cultivators holding weapons. Their faces were filled with fighting spirit. When they arrived at the city gate, the city wall was filled with city guards. They were standing on top with bows and arrows in their hands, and weapons in their hands. In the middle of the city wall stood a middle-aged man. The strongest person in Holy See Town, the mayor of a town, Jin Chenyuan. At this moment, beside Jin Chenyuan was an old man dressed in the uniform of a member of the Demon Hunting Mercenary Association. The words demon hunting were written on the old man's clothes. This was the president of the Demon Hunting Mercenary Association of Holy See Town, a transcendent level 8 powerhouse. At this moment, there were many mercenary groups gathered in front of the city gate. Each of them held a weapon in their hands, waiting for the mission to be activated and the mayor's order. According to our investigation, this should be the first wave of attack. There are even more powerful aquatic creatures behind. In the middle of the city wall, Jin Chenyuan stared ahead with a serious expression. In the ocean ahead, groups of creatures swam towards them. At a glance, they were densely packed, almost endless. At the front was a very strange monster. A white shell was on both sides of its body. It had 4 limbs, and one of its arms was as long as a knife. The knife was emitting a golden light. This monster was not very big. Most of them were about 1 meter in size, and the biggest one was only 3 meters in size. This was a golden scalpel fish, an aquatic creature with the lowest transcendence level 1. Other than the ground, there was also a strange aquatic creature in the sky. Its entire body was pitch black, like a bat, and it had a sharp mouthpart and a black whip-like tail. Every time this creature stirred, it would bring with it a dense black aura. Its aura seemed to far surpass that of the golden machete fish below. This was a demonic winged beast. Its strength was at least at the 2nd rank of the extraordinary realm. Apart from these 2 aquatic creatures, there were other creatures behind it. However, they were still very far away from Holy See Town. Kill the first wave of aquatic creatures as soon as possible. Let the mercenary group take action first. The few experts in the city are ready to deal with the leader of the fierce beasts at any time. The president of the mercenary group stared at the front with an expressionless face and said slowly, "Well, apart from the west gate, the east gate, the north gate, and the south gate will be attacked. The east gate is in the center." Jin Chenyuan's eyes flickered. Seeing that the aquatic creatures were about to arrive, he ordered, "The city defense mission is activated." "It's the mayor." The old man next to him nodded, then slowly turned his head and looked at the city gate. There were tens of thousands of mercenary group members gathered here, each of them holding a weapon in their hands, waiting for the mission to start. City defense mission begins. The old man waved his arm, and an image appeared above him. City defense mission begins. First mission. 1:5-star silver mission. Battle outside the city, kill fierce beasts. According to the number of fierce beasts killed, obtain additional corresponding points. The fierce beast corpse belongs to the slayer. 2:1-star bronze mission. Stand on the city wall and attack from afar. Based on the number of berserk beasts killed, you will receive additional points. The corpse of the berserk beast will belong to the slayer. Additional points: 1 point for a tier 1 berserk beast, 10 points for a tier 2 berserk beast, 100 points for a tier 3 berserk beast, and 1000 points for a tier 4 berserk beast. The points will be increased one by one. When a mercenary group participates in a mission, more than half of them must complete it. There were 2 missions, and they were vastly different. The first mission was to leave the city and fight. As long as they survived, they would be considered to have completed the 5-star silver mission. While fighting on the city wall, the 1-star bronze mission was mainly because there was no danger on the city wall. Apart from these 2 missions, killing a beast could obtain points and the corpse of the beast. The first mission was relatively dangerous, while the second mission was 100% safe. Obviously, the demon hunters would encourage mercenary groups to leave the city to fight. The first wave of attacks could be easily defended by the guards on the city wall. You can accept missions through the mission stone plate, or you can accept missions through registration. Mission begins. Boom boom boom. When the old man finished speaking, the city gate immediately opened. Haha, if you want to kill, then go out and kill. Brother, follow me and charge. FUCK, although it's dangerous, as long as we can survive, we can definitely make a fortune. Haha, charge. Very quickly, a mercenary group chose a mission and directly charged out of the city. The first wave of missions was not very dangerous. For cultivators whose strength had reached transcendent level 3 or 4, the danger of leaving the city to battle was not very high. However, the rewards would definitely not be low. The mercenary groups flew out with fighting spirit. Let's go. Wang Xian did not hesitate at all. His body moved and he flew straight into the sky towards the outside of the city. During the period of defending the city, he could fly in the city. A group of members from the Dragon Palace followed behind while the strange demon was hidden in the void. Wang Xian and the rest were floating in the sky outside the city. They stared ahead with cold eyes. There were about 7,000 to 8,000 cultivators around them. Each of them was at least at level 2 of the extraordinary realm. There were at least hundreds of thousands of goldfish in front of them. There were also thousands of demonic winged beasts in the sky. The battle to defend the city was about to begin. The real battle was about to erupt. It's all of you. At this moment, a cold voice came from the side. Wang Xian frowned and looked to the side. He saw 4 to 5 young men staring at him coldly. What's wrong? Who is he? In the middle of the young men, a young man with long hair tied up and a golden long sword under his feet looked at the 4 to 5 of them curiously. Beside them, Jin Liuyang also looked over curiously. Leader, this kid called our mercenary group trash and even mocked us. A young man stared at Wang Xian coldly and said to the long-haired young man beside him. Is that so? A cold glint flashed across the eyes of the long-haired young man. Jin Liuyang frowned and looked at Wang Xian and the rest. He is only 1 level higher than us and he said that we are trash. Kid, you are really arrogant. The long-haired young man moved his palm and another golden long sword appeared in his hand. Hee, trash, it's time to fight. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the few of them with a hint of disdain in his eyes. He stared ahead and charged forward. Kill, 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 kill. An earth-shattering sound of killing rang out as 7,000 to 8,000 people charged towards the hundreds of thousands of golden mackerel. When the long-haired young man and the rest heard Wang Xian's words, their faces turned ugly instantly. What an arrogant fellow who is courting death. The long-haired young man's face was gloomy. His eyes flickered as he swept his gaze across Wang Xian's figure. Let's kill the ferocious beasts first. Jin Liuyang, who was at the side, also frowned. She shouted softly and charged over. Chapter 9:15 was killing in all directions. Kill. The area of 10 kilometers in front of them was filled with densely packed golden bladefish. There were the most golden bladefish at Transcendent Level 1, followed by Transcendent Level 2, Transcendent Level 3, and even Transcendent Level 5. The number of golden bladefish was dozens of times more than the number of mercenary groups. One by one, the mercenary groups spread out and attacked the golden bladefish below. Wang Xian led Ao Jian and the rest to attack a spot in the middle. There were more than 10,000 people. For at least 300,000 to 400,000 goldfish, it was very little. However, the strength of more than 10,000 members of the mercenary group was much stronger than the goldfish. Among the members of the mercenary group, there was also an extraordinary level 6 powerhouse. Burn the river and boil the sea. Wang Xian came to the sky above the goldfish. Without any hesitation, he unleashed a terrifying fire abhina. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The moment he arrived, Hundreds of goldfish below him waved their golden knife-like arms and slashed at him. With a swing of the knife, a 100-meter-wide knife mark was formed. In an instant, hundreds of knife marks were comparable to an attack of a level 2 transcendent. Boom! However, before the knife light could reach him, the terrifying flames covered an area of 3,000 to 4,000 meters below him. The terrifying flames melted the saber ray directly and landed on the ground. In an instant, it covered more than 100 golden knife fish. A single divine ability instantly killed more than 100 golden knife fish, including 4 to 5 extraordinary level 3 golden knife fish. HMPH, using a divine ability as soon as you come up. You're really courting death. At this moment, a cold snort came from not far away. Wang Xian glanced at the long-haired young man and ignored him. Do you want to compare our killing speed, trash? The long-haired young man obviously held a grudge against Wang Xian's words of trash. He mocked him coldly. You are not qualified. Wang Xian did not have a good impression of these prideful young men. He opened his mouth directly. HMPH, coward. The long-haired young man snorted coldly. More than 10 long swords appeared around him in an instant and attacked the surrounding goldfish. Jin Liuyang, who was not far away, took a glance at this place. Water arrows were shot at the goldfish. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 10 long swords killed more than 10 goldfish in an instant. Clearly, the long-haired young man was not weak either. Whoosh. Wang Xian opened his mouth and spat out the fire dragon bead instantly. He attacked the goldfish one by one. Wang Xian's arm changed slightly and turned into a dragon claw. He landed directly in the middle of the goldfish. Kill. His face was ice cold. He waved his dragon claw and killed a goldfish with one strike. Even if it was a level 3 transcendent, he would be killed instantly. So strong. The long-haired young man took a glance at Wang Xian and a hint of seriousness appeared in his eyes. 10,000 swords, slash. At this moment, a cold voice came from the side. The long-haired young man quickly looked over and saw 11 middle-aged men wielding the same golden longswords on the right. A unified move, a unified attack, and a unified divine ability. In an instant, thousands of long swords appeared in front of each of them. The 11 of them moved and charged forward together. A single charge of 3,000 meters killed 4,000 to 5,000 golden swordfish. The terrifying attack was blocked by 3 transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. Boom! Wang Xian rushed to the front of the few transcendent level 4 golden swordfish in a frenzy. His dragon claws enlarged by 3 meters and grabbed a transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. Crack! Crack! The body of the golden swordfish split open and died instantly. Ao Jian and the rest of the golden swordfish swung their longswords and slashed at the other 2 transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. 11 terrifying sword rays flashed and killed the 2 golden swordfish. So strong. The long-haired young man's expression changed slightly. In an instant, he killed a transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. That kid's strength was not weaker than his. Kill, kill, kill. There were simply too many golden mackerel. However, this made Wang Xian extremely excited. His body moved quickly as he killed one golden mackerel after another with his dragon claws. In less than 5 minutes, Wang Xian had killed more than 1,000 golden mackerel. Ao Jian and the rest were also not slow in their killing speed. 11 of them had killed more than 2,000 golden mackerel. A massacre. The golden machete fish was not very strong. Wang Xian relied on his terrifying physical strength and dragon claws to kill them quickly. A massacre. Not a single golden machete fish could withstand 2 of his attacks. What kind of supernatural power is that claw of his? How can it be so strong? The long-haired young man looked at Wang Xian and the rest with a serious expression. Which mercenary group is this? Why haven't I heard of it before? Its combat strength is so insane. This time, even Jin Liuyang was astonished. In the few mercenary groups nearby, with the young man as the leader, the number of goldfish they killed in a short period of time exceeded the total number of 4 to 5 mercenary groups in the surrounding area. Damn, they're so violent. Their physiques are so strong. Which mercenary group is that guy from, bro? He's too fierce. killing much faster than us. The other mercenary groups also looked over in shock. The strength of their mercenary groups was not weak either. All of them were 3 to 4 stars silver rank. Their leader was an extraordinary Type 5 expert, but the number of kills he killed was still far from the 12 of them. It's a pity that the strange demon can't be exposed. If the strange demon attacked together, its speed would be even faster. Wang Xian thought to himself. With the physique of a divine dragon, the energy and physical strength in his body were dozens of times stronger than that of a human. He didn't feel the slightest bit tired when he killed. Damn, look ahead. The leader of the Sword Scar mercenary group is too abnormal. He killed over 1,000 golden mackerel fish in one strike. The few large mercenary groups in Shanghai town are all there. Even though they were surrounded by 70,000 to 80,000 golden knife fish, they still managed to kill everyone in all directions. Awesome. At this moment, exclamations could be heard from the surroundings. Wang Xian raised his head and looked ahead. He noticed that there were terrifying attacks coming from the front. 70,000 to 80,000 golden knife fish were surrounding and attacking more than a dozen people. These people were all the leaders of the top mercenary groups in Shanghai town. The strongest knife marks was at level 7 of the supernatural realm. Interesting. Wang Xian licked his tongue and looked towards the center of the group. He then flew towards the area where the goldfish were the most concentrated. Damn, is he fucking courting death? The few young men who were following the long-haired young man shouted in surprise when they saw Wang Xian suddenly charging over. His courting death. The long-haired young man said disdainfully. Entering the encirclement without the strength of a transcendent level 5 was simply courting death. Although it's not good to expose the physique of the divine dragon, it shouldn't be a problem to expose the other attribute. Wang Xian licked his tongue and looked at the nearly 100,000 golden mackerel fish in front of him. He flew up high. The wood world descended. Spirit enchantment. The long-haired young man's expression changed drastically. Chapter 9:16. People from Zhen Shanghai town. On Earth, an extraordinaire could cover an area of more than 10 kilometers with a wave of his hand. However, on the extraordinaire continent, due to the rich spiritual energy, the quality of the spiritual energy in the world was higher than on Earth. The attack of an extraordinaire could only cover an area of 1 to 2,000 meters at most. The descent of the wood world was the result of Wang Xian advancing to the extraordinaire and obtaining a wood attribute supernatural ability. As his level increased, it would increase. The power of the descent of the wood world was comparable to a level 5 divine ability. However, with the addition of the spirit enchantment, the attack was even more terrifying and more agile. Descent of the wood world. Spirit enchantment. When Wang Xian's voice rang out in the sky, dense trees instantly appeared beneath him. The trees were 5 to 6 meters thick, 4 to 500 meters tall, and had an area of more than 1,000 meters. Within this range, Wang Xian could control the wood world to descend and attack. However, after the enchantment, all the trees seemed to come alive. Boom, boom, boom. The trees seemed to have woken up and were emitting green rays of light. Kill. Wang Xian stood at the highest point of a tree. His body was emitting a dense azure dragon aura. The azure dragon aura seeped into the tree, causing it to become even stronger. A divine ability with a coverage of more than 1,000 meters was not considered small in this battlefield with a radius of 10 kilometers. However, such an area of attack had appeared 5 to 6 times since the start of the battle. Some of the area of effect attacks had a wide coverage, but they did not last for long. It was like burning the river and boiling the sea. It only lasted for about 10 seconds. The descent of the wood world was different. Only when all the trees were destroyed could the descent of the wood world disappear. The attack power of the descent of the wood world was slightly weaker than that of burning the river and boiling the sea. However, it was completely different after the enchantment. Even if Wang Xian did not turn into a divine dragon, his attack power was still not weak. Hundreds of huge trees were like awakened tree demons. They attacked the gold-blade fish in front of them directly. Holy shit, what divine ability is this? The tree demons that suddenly appeared, and there were hundreds of them, waved their thorns and attacked the golden knife fish. This scene made many people look shocked. They summoned trees, but the trees attacked like living creatures. Such a divine ability was unbelievable. What a powerful divine ability! Some of the mercenary group leaders looked over and revealed a look of astonishment. What him, he? The long-haired young man and the rest were stunned. Even Jin Liuyang, who was standing at the side, looked at the young man standing on the tree demon in astonishment. Due to the conflict with Wang Xian, they had been paying attention to his battle. In the beginning, he used the fire attribute, but now, he actually used the wood attribute. Dual attributes. The long-haired youth widened his eyes in disbelief. Dual attributes meant that his attack power far exceeded that of a single attribute. However, the cultivation speed of dual attributes was twice that of a single attribute. He actually has dual attributes, and he should be at transcendent rank 4 or rank 5. How terrifying! Jin Liuyan's face was filled with shock. Not many people in Eastern Sea City could match such talent. Boom! 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 Just as everyone was in shock, the spirit-imbued trees in the tree world transformed into tree demons. One after another, the trees moved their huge bodies and attacked the gold-blade fish. The densely packed trees smashed onto the gold-blade fish and sent them flying. Terrifying. There were hundreds of tree demons that were hundreds of meters tall, and each one of them had the strength of a rank 3 transcendent. With their huge bodies, their attacks were simply abnormal. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In just a few minutes, the group of tree demons had killed 3,000 to 4,000 golden bladefish. However, after killing so many golden bladefish, the dozens of tree demons looked like they were in tatters. Crack, crack, crack. At this moment, an ear-piercing sound came from the sky. Thousands of demon-winged beasts suddenly swooped down and attacked the tree demons. These demon-winged beasts were stronger than the golden mackerel. Thousands of demon-winged beasts emitted a terrifying demonic aura and could easily destroy all the tree demons. Wang Xian stood at the top of a tree demon. He frowned slightly and thought of something. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When the group of demon-winged beasts attacked, all the trees started to move. They were not attacking the demonic winged beasts. Instead, all the tree magic thorns intertwined together to form a huge net. Whoosh. When the net that covered a radius of more than 2,000 meters intertwined together, it directly covered all the demonic winged beasts. Ka. When the demonic winged beasts saw the net that covered them, their eyes revealed a cold expression. They flapped their wings and instantly, demonic feathers flew towards the net of thorns. However, the moment the demonic winged beasts attacked, all the trees condensed into thorns and filled up the spot where the net was broken. The tree demon turned into thorns and interweaved into a gigantic net that was suspended in the air. In the net, over 1,000 demonic winged beasts were covered. This is the moment. A blazing fire flashed across Wang Xian's eyes. He moved his body and dashed toward the net formed by the tree demons. Boom! In an instant, terrifying flames shot out from Wang Xian's eyes and body. The flames ignited all the tree demons in an instant. Wood-based fire. Wood-based fire. Boom! 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 In an instant, a flaming battlefield with a radius of more than 1,000 meters suddenly appeared on the battlefield with a radius of 10 kilometers. Gulp. Dual attribute. Wood makes fire. Using these trees as fuel, the fire attribute explodes with even more terrifying power. My God, this move is too terrifying. Who is that young man? How can he be so strong? This move is simply amazing. Too strong, too strong. What kind of monster young man has appeared in our holy sea town? Around them, the members of the mercenary group looked over with a look of horror on their faces. Among the demonic winged beasts that were surrounded by trees, there were quite a number of transcendents at level 4 and level 5. Crack, crack, crack. At this moment, screams of agony were heard coming from the huge flames. Whoosh. A few demonic winged beasts at level 5 transcendents flew out from the flames. Kill. At this moment, Wang Xian took action and chased after the 3 transcendent level 5 demonic winged beasts. The 3 demonic winged beasts were already severely injured. Kill. Ao Gen 11 followed closely behind Wang Xian. Their bodies transformed into long swords and charged towards the 3 transcendent level 3 demonic winged beasts in the sky. The 3 extraordinary level 5 demonic winged beasts that had just escaped were killed by them. Hiss. They're too strong. What kind of mercenary group is this? It's simply heaven-defying. The most terrifying one is the young man with wood and fire attributes. He's too amazing. Some of the surrounding members of the mercenary group saw this scene and widened their eyes. They were filled with shock. The long-haired young man and the few members beside him looked extremely embarrassed. There was even some fear in their hearts. I saw their badges just now. Their mercenary group seems to be called the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group. Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group. Chapter 917, Sneak Attack. The Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group. When Wang Xian descended with one move of the Tree World, one move of the Spirit Enchantment, and the final mass of Wood-Fire Burial, his formidable strength and dual-attribute talent instantly shocked everyone in the entire Holy See town. Genius, Heaven's Pride, Ivildor. In everyone's eyes, he was even more Ivildor than Ivildor. What kind of mercenary group is the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group? Why haven't I heard of it before? Strong, too strong. The other 11 members of the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group are all at Transcendent Level 4. The 12 of them have killed at least 10,000 ferocious beasts. This is simply heaven-defying. That young man looks young, but he possesses such strength. He might be able to become a powerhouse above transcendence in the future. Everyone looked at Wang Xian, the golden swordfish, and the rest in astonishment. Their faces were filled with disbelief. With just 12 people, they had killed more than 10,000 ferocious beasts. Among them, there were a few beasts that were at Transcendent Level 5 and Transcendent Level 4. They were so powerful that they were almost heaven-defying. Only the 2 or 3 mercenary groups in Shanghai town could achieve such a feat. Wang Xian's name was completely known in Shanghai town during this battle. The Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group could also be considered to have officially stepped onto the stage of the supernatural continent. Hee. Listening to the discussions and shock of the people around him, Wang Xian smiled faintly. The strength that he displayed now was less than 1/10 of his peak strength. Even if he revealed some of his strength, it wouldn't affect him in the slightest. Continue, kill. Wang Xian didn't stop and continued to attack the surroundings. This was a rare opportunity. After the monster siege this time, the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group had a high chance of being upgraded to gold rank. In addition, the tens of thousands of ferocious beasts' corpses belonged to them. A transcendent level 5 demonic beast's corpse was worth 50,000 medium-grade spirit stones. If they killed dozens of them, they could earn a few million spirit stones. When that time came, their strength would be upgraded once again. This is too ferocious. After 2 rounds of casting, they are still so powerful. Seeing Wang Xian attack again, the people around were shocked. Even if I cast all my spells, it won't consume too much of my energy. Wang Xian smiled. He waved the vines in his hands rapidly and killed the ferocious beasts one by one. Leader, this person is not someone we can provoke. At the back, the few young men beside the long-haired young man, who had provoked Wang Xian last night, were looking at Wang Xian's figure with pale faces as they spoke to the long-haired young man in fear. As long as he doesn't provoke us, we won't provoke them either. The long-haired young man spoke with a guilty expression. When he recalled his taunting just now, his expression turned extremely ugly. The other party's strength could completely crush him. He would never have thought that there would be such a monstrous young man in such a small Holy See town. What a strong kid. On top of the city wall, Jin Chenyuan looked at Wang Xian's figure in astonishment. To be able to reach extraordinary 4th or 5th level at such a young age, he was a top-notch existence in the entire kingdom. Furthermore, the other party had dual attributes. This was somewhat heaven-defying. If this kid doesn't perish, his future is limitless. The president of the hiring association was also staring at Wang Xian with a twinkle in his eyes. Supervisor Yi, it's that young man who spent more than 9 million middle-grade spirit stones on our Phoenix Immortal. At this moment, in an area of the city wall, Manager Liu stood beside a woman and pointed at Wang Xian, who was in the middle of a battle. The Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group? Do you know where he came from? Why did he help us, Phoenix Immortal? The woman was about 1.8 meters tall and had a good figure. She stared at Wang Xian with a twinkle in her eyes and asked curiously, I don't know. He seems to be from another place. Manager Liu shook his head and hesitated for a moment before continuing, but I feel that he seems to have some connection with us, Phoenix Immortal. To be able to support us under the threat of the two big mercenary groups in Holy Sea Town, there must be some connection. I just don't know the exact reason. The woman's face revealed a thoughtful expression. But no matter what, since the other party has helped us, we should also be on good terms with him. In the future, when he buys medicinal pills, he will give us a 20% discount. Yes, Manager Yi. Shopkeeper Liu nodded. Right now, the weapons and elixirs workshops in all our places are being suppressed by the life and death elixir workshops and the biological weapons workshops. Holy Sea Town is considered to be quite lucky, the woman muttered. This time, we came at the right time. We encountered monsters attacking the city, so we can sell some of the elixirs we brought. Haha, 15 transcendent tier 6 goldfish. The rest are not allowed to attack. Leave it to me. In the middle of the battlefield, a maniacal laughter suddenly erupted. At the very front, Dao Hen held a long knife with a maniacal smile on his face as he charged forward. Over there was the leader of the golden knife fish, 15 transcendent level 6 ferocious beasts. As long as he killed these 15 transcendent level 6 golden knife fish, it was only a matter of time before he killed the rest. Dao Hen dashed forward. The rest did not dare to follow him. In the entire battlefield, only Dao Hen was at level 7 transcendence. The rest of the mercenary groups continued to clean up the golden anchovies. In half an hour, only a few 100,000 golden anchovies were left. What a strong kid! On the other side of the battlefield, the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group, Xiu Qianshan, was killing the golden anchovies. From time to time, he would look at Wang Xian who was slaughtering everyone. The strength that Wang Xian displayed shocked him. However, the more he did so, the stronger the killing intent in his heart. I can't wait any longer. I have to get rid of this brat. Otherwise, Han Shan's death will be in vain. Xiu Qianshan's eyes were extremely cold. He gritted his teeth and made up his mind. The battle was ongoing, and the slaughter was also ongoing. Wang Xian didn't know how many goldfish he had killed. Each time he attacked, more than 10 goldfish would die immediately. These low-level goldfish didn't have any strength left to resist Wang Xian's attacks. They didn't dare to resist either. In fact, Wang Xian possessed the might of the dragon. Once he used it, 80% of the ferocious beasts on the battlefield would be under his control. After all, goldfish belonged to the aquatic race. Most of their strength was below level 3 of the supernatural realm. If he really used the might of the dragon, it would be a little shocking. Dragon King, be careful. At this moment, a reminder entered his ears. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. His eyes that were emitting light swept behind him. Whoosh! Sneak attack. Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. A flash of coldness flashed across his eyes. His body moved, and his dragon's might covered a radius of 1,000 meters. Buzz buzz buzz. He hurriedly dodged to the back. Around him, many golden machete fish of transcendent level 1 and 2 were attacking that figure. Damn golden mackerel, I was actually discovered. Xiu Qianshan's expression changed slightly. He swept the long sword in his hand, directly killing the golden mackerel that was charging at him. Chapter 918, took revenge on the spot. Captain Huan Hai, what are you trying to do? Wang Xian flew into the sky and stared coldly at the captain of Huan Hai's mercenary group, Xiu Qianshan. Dragon King. The group of golden swordfish immediately flew to Wang Xian's side and stared coldly at Xiu Qianshan. Hihi, kid, there's no need to be so nervous. It's just killing a ferocious beast. When Xiu Qianshan saw Wang Xian and the rest staring at him vigilantly, some of the mercenary groups around him turned their attention to him. Their expressions changed and they chuckled. If you want to ambush me, I'll just say it. As the leader of a 5-star silver-grade mercenary group and an extraordinary level 6 powerhouse, Is there a need to find so many reasons? We both know that we have a grudge against each other. Wang Xian stared at Xiao Qianshan coldly and said with some disdain. He. Xiao Qianshan's expression turned cold when he heard his words. He licked his lips and said, so what if I want to kill you? Just you wait, kid. If you kill a member of my Mirage Sea mercenary group, I will definitely take your dog life. Xiao Qianshan stared at Wang Xian coldly. Dozens of members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group flew to his side and stared at Wang Xian and the rest coldly. What happened? Why did the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group suddenly attack that young man? Could it be that they have a deep grudge against each other? They actually attacked during the siege? Xiao Qianshan actually wanted to kill that young man. It seems like the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group killed a member of a small team of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Xiao Qianshan wanted revenge. However, now that the sneak attack has been discovered, even if Xiao Qianshan was stronger than that young man, it would be difficult to kill him. The people who were fighting around them were shocked when they saw the Illusionary Sea mercenary group suddenly confronting the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. The Illusionary Sea mercenary group was one of the top 5 mercenary groups in Shanghai town. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group had shone brilliantly today. The confrontation between the two powerful mercenary groups in Shanghai town instantly attracted everyone's attention. Kill me. You are not qualified to do so. Wang Xian stared at Xiao Qianshan coldly and said coldly. Don't worry. I will step on your corpse soon. Everyone in your Celestial Phoenix mercenary group will die. Xiao Qianshan emitted a strong murderous aura as he growled with confidence. His current position was too close to the city gate and was surrounded by ferocious beasts. If Wang Xian and the rest wanted to escape, he didn't have the confidence to stop them. After the failed sneak attack, he didn't attack again. Kid, just you wait. A goldfish rushed towards him. Xiao Qianshan waved the long saber in his hand and a terrifying saber radiance gathered. When it landed on the goldfish, it exploded instantly. Immediately, blood splattered everywhere. Xiao Qianshan smiled menacingly. Go. He snorted coldly and waved his saber to attack the surrounding golden machetes. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group actually provoked the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Next, that young man is in big trouble. Yeah, a genius who hasn't grown up is no different from an ordinary person. Some of the surrounding members of the mercenary group looked over and discussed in a low voice. Are we waiting? Wang Xian looked at the Mirage Sea mercenary group that had once again charged into the group of golden swordfish. His dragon aura slowly spread to the surroundings. In an instant, all the extraordinary level 1 and level 2 golden swordfish within a radius of 1,000 meters instantly attacked them. A few thousand golden swordfish charged over, but it did not cause any chaos in the Mirage Sea mercenary group. You dare to threaten me? Attack! Wang Xian moved his body and dashed towards the Mirage Sea mercenary group at a terrifying speed. Ao Jian and the rest followed closely behind, their faces filled with killing intent. They had to take revenge on the spot. If it wasn't inconvenient to expose Ao Yarrow and the rest directly, everyone in the Mirage Sea mercenary group would be dead by now. But even so, they were fast. Endless sight. Golden sword thrusts. The 11 golden swordfish instantly unleashed their strongest abhina. Their bodies were like long swords as they directly attacked the Mirage Sea mercenary group. They actually dared to attack us. The Mirage Sea mercenary group, who was killing the golden swordfish, had a change in expression as anger appeared on their faces. It was especially so for Xiao Qianshan. He was like a tiger that had been angered by a monkey. His body was filled with a murderous aura. He had already allowed him to live for a few more days when he did not continue to attack earlier. Now, he actually dared to retaliate. You're courting death. Kill them all. Xiao Qianshan shouted angrily. This time, he did not conceal his anger at all. His body was emitting a terrifying murderous aura. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. In an instant, the group of golden mackerel fish around the Mirage Sea mercenary group seemed to have gone crazy. They jumped up and attacked everyone in the Mirage Sea mercenary group without any fear of death. In an instant, more than 2,000 goldfish attacked without any fear of death. Although their strength was below level 3 of the supernatural realm, they still had to defend with all their might. Boom! 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 In an instant, a strong defense burst out from their bodies. The sword gleam of the goldfish landed in front of them and was blocked. However, this did not make the golden bladefish give up on attacking. Their bodies flew over and chopped off their kitchen knife-like arms. Scram! The members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group felt their bodies shake and immediately scattered the group of golden bladefish. However, following that, another wave of golden bladefish's attack arrived. What's going on? A member of the Mirage Sea mercenary group had a slight change in expression. They could clearly feel that the surrounding golden bladefish were suddenly going all out. It was as though they would slash them even if they were to die. This made them flustered. Quick, dodge. At this moment, the furious roar of Xiao Qianshan could be heard. However, it was over. Wang Xian couldn't see everything clearly. The golden sword spikes of the golden swordfish had already landed on the bodies of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Scram! A captain of the Mirage Sea mercenary group looked at the flames that were attacking him. At the same time, his body was emitting terrifying flames that burned the golden swordfish around him to death. He grunted coldly and held his flaming long saber with both hands. He swung it at an unending line of sight. Boom! The flames resisted the flames. The result was that the flames on the team leader's body became even more intense. Ah! A miserable scream was heard. Ah ah ah! Following that, another 4 or 5 miserable screams were heard from the surroundings. Phoenix mercenary group, you're courting death. A terrifying blade ray was attacking Wang Xian. His face was solemn as he landed on the ground quickly. A huge wooden shield was used to block the attack. Boom! The wooden shield exploded and completely neutralized the blade ray. The sudden outbreak of the battle shocked everyone once again. Their faces were filled with shock. Damn, what's going on? Why did the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group suddenly attack the Mirage Sea mercenary group? This is going to be an all-out battle. However, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group's strength is obviously much weaker than the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Everyone hurriedly looked over and widened their eyes. The Mirage Sea mercenary group leader's sneak attack on that youth was unsuccessful. In the end, they had just left when they were instantly ambushed by that youth. Was there a need to be so violent? Chapter 919. Congratulations on your death. On the battlefield outside the city gates of Shanghai town. Just now, the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group was about to launch a sneak attack on Wang Xian. However, after he left, he was instantly attacked by the other party. At this moment when the city was being attacked, there were around 70,000 to 80,000 people watching from the surrounding and the city walls. The sudden outbreak of the battle caused everyone to reveal a look of shock. Especially the counterattack of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group, it shocked everyone. Berserk, too berserk. Although the young leader of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was extremely powerful, in everyone's eyes, there was still a huge gap between him and the Mirage Sea mercenary group. The leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group had just advanced to Transcendent Level 6 not long ago, and there were 2 Transcendent Level Rank 5 experts in the mercenary group. There were 7 or 8 Transcendent Level Rank 4 experts. On the other hand, there were only 12 people in the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group, and the other 11 people had Transcendent Level Rank 4 strength. The difference in strength between the two was huge. This is too violent. Xiao Qianshan failed his sneak attack just now, and in the blink of an eye, he attacked back. Moreover, he killed 7 or 8 people from the Mirage Sea mercenary group, and even killed a Transcendent Level Rank 5. Hiss, the Mirage Sea mercenary group was too careless. They were suddenly attacked by a group of golden mackerel. They couldn't dodge in time and were directly killed by 8 people. It wasn't that the Mirage Sea mercenary group was careless. No one expected that the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group dared to counterattack. They actually dared to launch a sneak attack. Seeing the 8 members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group fall to the ground, everyone around sucked in a breath of cold air. The timing of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was too tricky. The Mirage Sea mercenary group, which was surrounded by 1,000 to 2,000 golden mackerel, was not in any danger. However, if the members of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group were included, this would be the ending. The 8 members were killed, including an extraordinary level 5 powerhouse. I will tear you into pieces. When Xiao Qianshan saw that his 8 subordinates were dead, his eyes were blood red. He held the long saber in his hand and slashed at Wang Xian. The violent aura caused some of the surrounding members of the mercenary group to quickly hide behind. This is too fucking crazy. The long-haired young man and the rest were not too far away from Wang Xian and the rest. When they saw the situation, they retreated with pale faces. They had witnessed this scene with their own eyes. It was a sneak attack and a counter-sneak attack. They were not afraid at all. It was a battle where they were risking their lives. This made them feel fearful. This motherfucker, even if the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group provoked us, we shouldn't fight back. The long-haired youth was completely afraid. Under the situation where there were fierce beasts around, being attacked by a mercenary group that was stronger than him and still daring to resist was indeed quite irritable. If it was them, they definitely wouldn't dare to say a word. Lord, the battlefield outside. On the city wall, everyone looked at the sudden outbreak of battle in shock. A city guard walked to Jin Qinyuan's side and hesitated for a moment before asking. Since we're outside the city, let them kill each other. Jin Qinyuan's eyes flashed with displeasure as he coldly said. The city guard slowly nodded and everyone looked over. That young man's talent is indeed terrifying, but he's so stupid. He actually dared to launch a sneak attack when he wasn't the opponent's match. He's courting death, genius. He's nothing before he grows up. This kid is really courting death. He might be killed by Captain Xiao Qianshan. Some of them looked at the battle on the battlefield with a hint of disdain on their faces. Although you are a genius, if you act so arrogantly, you will still be killed. You dare to launch a sneak attack on me? Your Mirage Sea mercenary group is courting death. Wang Xian's eyes flashed with a cold glint as the plants around him grew rapidly. Hehe, I want to feed that head of yours to the ferocious beast. Earth-shattering. Xiao Qianshan let out a loud roar as he slashed the long saber in his hand toward the ground. Crack, crack, crack. A 3-meter-wide crack formed instantly and spread toward Wang Xian. Tree World's Descent. It had been half an hour since Wang Xian had used Tree World's Descent the last time. The azure dragon energy in Wang Xian's body trembled. The surrounding trees were uprooted from the ground. However, Wang Xian did not possess any spirit this time. With a thought, he made Tree World's Descent form an encirclement. This move of yours is ineffective against me. When Xiao Qianshan saw that his attack was blocked by the trees from Tree World's Descent, a cold smile appeared on his face. Go in. Wang Xian ignored him and said to the group of golden swordfish that were being suppressed. Boom. 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 Ao Jian and the rest immediately unleashed their attacks and fled into the tree world. Destroy them. Don't let any of them escape. Xiao Qianshan roared loudly. The long saber in his hand emitted an earthen yellow glow. Divine ability, heaven-shattering and earth-shattering. Boom. The terrifying tremors attacked the inside of the tree world. In an instant, large areas of trees were shattered and disappeared. Whoosh. Whoosh. Kill. The Mirage Sea mercenary group's bodies emitted all kinds of light as they attacked the tree world. In an instant, more than half of the hundreds of trees were destroyed. You can't escape. Xiao Qianshan charged straight into the forest. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group is done for. They are completely suppressed. The people who were watching from the surroundings looked over. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was completely suppressed. That's not right. The trees have sealed off the surroundings. At this moment, some people revealed a look of surprise. The moment everyone from the Mirage Sea mercenary group charged in, the tree world descended and surrounded all of them. Congratulations on coming in to die. At this moment, Wang Xian was smiling as he stared at the more than 30 members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group who had rushed in. Ao Jian and the rest were standing on the left and right, staring at them coldly. When Xiao Qianshan heard Wang Xian's words and saw that he was smiling, his expression changed slightly. He immediately scanned his surroundings. The rest of the Mirage Sea members were also looking around vigilantly. "You're playing tricks." Xiao Qianshan suddenly felt a little uneasy. He growled, "Kill." Before he could finish his sentence, he charged at Wang Xian directly. However, just as he charged into the air, a series of sounds of people falling to the ground came from behind him. His expression changed drastically and he turned his head quickly. What? The corpses. In less than a second, more than 30 of his subordinates had fallen to the ground. There was no sign of life at all. How? How was this possible? Impossible. This is an illusion, an illusion. His expression changed drastically. His body trembled and the earthy yellow armor instantly covered his entire body. He looked around vigilantly. Congratulations, death. Wang Xian waved his arm and a red piece of paper floated towards him slowly. Xiao Qianshan widened his eyes and stared at the red piece of paper. He knew this piece of paper very well. Everyone in Holy Sea Town knew it very well. The red piece of paper represented congratulations on death. The Dragon Assassin Organization. Chapter 920, Shook the Holy Sea. Dragon Spike. Dragon Assassin Organization, you. Xiao Qianshan stared at the red piece of paper floating in front of him, his eyes filled with fear. An assassin organization had intimidated the entire Holy Sea Town in just 3 days. It had even made the families of Holy Sea Town put down their grudges and weapons and settle their conflicts. It made many people feel terrified and uneasy all day long. In just 3 days, there was no one they couldn't kill. Even if it was a transcendent level 6 powerhouse, 2 to 3 people had died at the hands of Long Ci. No one knew how strong Long Ci was. However, the strength he displayed was definitely not something that the Mirage Sea mercenary group could afford to provoke. You are from the Dragon Thorns Assassin Organization? You are. Xiao Qianshan's body was trembling slightly. More than 30 of his subordinates were killed in an instant. The Dragon Thorns Assassin Organization had already instilled fear in him. His voice was trembling slightly. I am the founder of the Dragon Thorns Assassin Organization. Wang Xian stared at Xiao Qianshan as he spoke slowly. How did this? Before he could finish his sentence, a claw pierced through his chest. His face instantly turned extremely pale. How did he have such a terrifying concealing ability? How could it be so terrifying? He was so stiff that he wanted to turn his head around to see what creature had killed him. However, the life force in his body quickly disappeared. Wang Xian walked over slowly and kept the red piece of paper on the ground. Your men wanted to kill me. I killed your men, and then you came back for revenge. Hee. Wang Xian looked at his corpse and shook his head mockingly. Use it as nourishment for the dragon pond. Wang Xian moved his arm and took out the interspatial ring from his hand. Ao Jian and the rest also took out the interspatial rings from the other 30 or so Mirage Sea members. Hey! There are so many elixirs. There are also quite a number of middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian's face was filled with astonishment. He took a rough look. There were millions of middle-grade spirit stones and dozens of elixirs. It's not bad for a 5-star silver mercenary group to have such asset. Wang Xian kept the interspatial ring and looked at the interspatial rings of the rest. As one of the top mercenary groups in Shanghai town, everyone had quite a lot of resources in their hands. This was especially so for their weapons. The weapons in Xiao Qianshan's hands were at Transcendent Level 6. Their value was much higher than the Transcendent Level 6 pills. The combined value of the spirit stones, pills, and weapons was close to 3 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian kept them unhurriedly. Ao Yarrow and the rest hid in the void again. With the cover of the trees, no one could see what was happening inside. Wang Xian was not afraid that the strange demon would be exposed. He kept all the corpses into his interspatial ring. With a wave of his arm, the surrounding trees turned into green dragon energy and entered his body. The trees slowly disappeared. At this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on this place from the outside. When the trees that blocked their vision disappeared and when Wang Xian and the rest stood there, everyone was in an uproar. What? Where are the people from the Mirage Sea mercenary group? Could it be? No, it can't be. Xiao Chenshan and the rest were killed. How is this possible? He is an extraordinary level 6 powerhouse. Oh my god, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group actually destroyed the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Everyone's faces were filled with shock. They widened their eyes and could not help but exclaim. This was the Mirage Sea mercenary group, one of the top 5 mercenary groups in Holy See Town. It had actually been annihilated. However, the one who annihilated them was a newly emerged 3-star silver mercenary group. A young man was the leader. Could it be that the young man has the strength of a transcendent rank 6? That's impossible, right? No, definitely not a transcendent 6th rank. From his combat strength just now, he isn't that strong. He must have used some kind of weapon or array formation to wipe out the Mirage Sea mercenaries. That must be it. There was no sound of attack from the area that was surrounded just now. They must have fallen into the array formation and then been killed. Everyone could not help but guess. At this moment, most of the goldfish had been killed. In the distance, Dao Hen was even more excited as he killed one after another of the extraordinary level 6 goldfish. The first wave of attacks from the ferocious beasts was about to end. Wang Xian ignored the discussions of the people around him. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and saw that there were not many goldfish left. He stood there with a smile on his face. Some of the people around him looked over intentionally or unintentionally. Their eyes were filled with respect. An expert who was able to destroy the Mirage Sea mercenary group was worthy of their respect. The strength of the Fairy Phoenix mercenary group could be ranked in the top 5 in Shanghai Town. The first wave of the city defense mission has been completed. Everyone, return to the city immediately to rest and reorganize. Soon, the second wave of the ferocious beasts siege will begin. Under normal circumstances, the ferocious beasts attacking the city were controlled by the sea demonic beast race. As they were all ferocious beasts, their intelligence was not very high. Therefore, when attacking the city, it was impossible for all the ferocious beasts to rush over at once. If that was the case, before they reached the city wall, all the ferocious beasts would start to kill each other. Therefore, the monsters attacking the city were carried out wave by wave. The further they went, the higher the level of the monsters would be. The first wave would have level 6 transcendence, and the second wave would definitely have level 7 transcendence. Wang Xian's figure moved and flew into the city. Hey! The Mirage Sea mercenary group was destroyed by that kid. At the last position, a group of more than 100 people were floating in the air as they slowly flew into the city. In the middle of these 100 people, Dao Hen was covered in blood. His single eye was emitting a threatening luster as he looked at a figure in front of him. It's the leader. It's their Immortal Phoenix mercenary group that destroyed more than 40 experts of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. An elder beside him nodded. Hehe, I didn't expect them to have some strength. Dao Hen's single eye flashed with an unknown luster. He then narrowed his eyes and didn't say anything. On the city wall, everyone looked at the group of mercenary group members flying over with respect. These were all the strongest members of the mercenary group in Holy See Town, especially the last one, Bladescar mercenary group. However, today, a mercenary group rose up. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group stepped on the corpse of the Mirage Sea mercenary group and directly stepped onto the peak. Everyone looked at the young man who was a bit too excessive with respect. He was the leader of a powerful mercenary group with terrifying strength. Oh right, it seems that the leader was accepted by the Demon Hunters Academy with the first place result in Shanghai Town. That's right, it's him. I remember that he even killed the daughter of the vice leader of the Squalid Shark mercenary group back then. That's right, it's this young master. He's really the new wave that has surpassed the new wave. I can't help but admire him. Wang Xian and the rest landed on the city wall. The people around him immediately cleared a space and were very respectful. Some of them even addressed Wang Xian as the leader and young master. The battle today, whether it was killing the ferocious beasts or destroying the Mirage Sea mercenary group, had shocked everyone. In the future, there would be one more mercenary group that would shock the entire Shanghai town. The Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group. Chapter 921. Once again made a strong enemy. The first wave of monster siege has ended. Through the formation, we can clearly record the number of ferocious beasts killed. The corpses of the ferocious beasts will be distributed to everyone. The second wave of monster siege will probably be in half an hour. Everyone, rest as soon as possible. There will be a new mission soon. On the city wall, Jin Qinyuan's gaze swept across all the mercenary groups and said expressionlessly. Although the first wave of attacks were perfectly resisted, he was still somewhat dissatisfied with the mercenary group's civil war that occurred during the defense of the city. However, he couldn't say anything during this period of time. After all, the mercenary group accepted the mission to defend the city. Defending the city wasn't their responsibility, but the responsibility of the city guards. Even if there was a civil war during the defense of the city, it was still the mercenary group's own business. The group of mercenary groups nodded with excitement. Hundreds of thousands of fierce beasts' corpses was definitely a terrifying income for them. However, there were also some mercenary groups whose faces were extremely ugly. In the first wave of attacks, although the fierce beast strength was relatively low, under the encirclement of many fierce beasts, they still lost 500 to 600 people. We have a large number of recovery pills and healing pills. During the defense of the city today, all of them will be sold at a 10% discount. At this moment, a middle-aged man at the bottom of the city wall shouted loudly. At the center of the city below, there was a huge temporary stall with densely packed medicinal pills on it. A woman stood at the center of the stall with a hot figure and a smile on her face. Holy Item Forging Workshop, weapons will be given a 10% discount during the defense period. A voice also came from the side. An old man was standing in the center, surrounded by more than a dozen salesmen. Pills, weapons, 10% discount. Welcome to buy. At the bottom of the city, the Life and Death Pill Workshop, Holy Item Forging Workshop, Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop, and all the weapons shops and pharmacies in Holy Sea Town had set up a temporary place to sell pills and weapons. During the defense of the city, the demand for medicinal pills and weapons was relatively large. When the monsters attacked the city, these medicinal pills and weapon shops were likely to benefit the most. A group of warriors from the mercenary group swarmed toward the weapon shops of the medicinal pills shop, buying all kinds of medicinal pills to prepare for the upcoming battle. The three big medicinal pills and weapon workshops occupied the three most central positions. However, at this time, many people gathered in front of the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop. Only the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop did not have any people in front of it. In front of the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop, more than 10 members of the Knife Scar mercenary group stood at the side, coldly glancing at any cultivator who wanted to buy pills and weapons from the Immortal Phoenix. When all the mercenary groups saw this situation, they tactfully went to other pill and weapon shops to buy items. Today, the Knife Scar mercenary group leader single-handedly killed 15 extraordinary 6th-grade fierce beasts, intimidating the entire battlefield. That invincible fighting strength made everyone fear him. There was no need for them to offend the Dao Hen mercenary group. If Dao Hen were to casually kill them as a warning to the others while they were defending the city, then they would be in deep trouble. As a result, not a single mercenary group came to purchase pills or weapons. Supervisor Yi, this is the situation. Manager Liu stood in front of the temporary stall and spoke to the woman beside him with a bitter expression. It's the same as the situation in other places. The woman's face was dark, and she looked very embarrassed. The Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop had been suppressed by the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop. It was not only Holy Sea Town, but also many places. Some places had started to fight back, but most of them were still very miserable. The Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop each had a foundation that was thousands or even tens of thousands of years old. It was absolutely not something that the Immortal Phoenix, who had been established for more than 2 years, could resist. Even if their empress had unparalleled talent. However, this was still the empress from 1,000 years ago. The current empress needed time. She firmly believed that within 100 years, their empress would once again be able to cry out to the 9 heavens. Manager Yi, I do have a method that can solve the current predicament. Shopkeeper Liu hesitated for a moment and said to the woman. Oh, what method? A trace of surprise flashed in the woman's eyes and she quickly asked. The main reason why others don't dare to come to our Phoenix Immortal to buy things is because of knife marks. If we can solve the knife marks mercenary group. A trace of coldness flashed in shopkeeper Liu's eyes as he said in a low voice. Our Phoenix Immortal has already sent powerful people to solve this problem, but it's not the turn of the Holy Sea Town yet. The woman shook her head. They had naturally thought of this method, and had even begun to implement it. However, they were dealing with the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Saint Item Forging Workshop. This was a protracted battle, and it could not be solved just like that. Moreover, many of the difficulties in the city had not been solved, and it was not St. Seatown's turn. If it were not for the fact that St. Seatown had suddenly sold nearly 10 million middle-grade spirit stones in 2 days, she would not have come here. Shopkeeper Yi, I don't mean to let our experts take action, but to let the assassin organization take action, Shopkeeper Liu said in a low voice. Assassin organization? The woman was slightly stunned as she looked at him. That's right. In the past few days, an assassin organization has appeared in our Holy Sea Town, Dragon Spike. In just a few short days, several transcendent rank 6 experts have died at their hands. The entire Holy Sea Town is in a state of panic. Now, Dragon Spike is the underground king of Holy Sea Town. It's said that even the undercurrents have retreated from Holy Sea Town. We can ask Dragon Spike to take action, but the price for assassinating a rank 7 transcendent might be. Shopkeeper Liu hesitated slightly. According to his understanding, Dragon Spike had assassinated a rank 6 transcendent and offered 2 million mid-grade spirit stones. If he assassinated a rank 7 transcendent, it would be at least 20 million mid-grade spirit stones. This price wasn't high, because experts were worth this price. In fact, if one were to offer this price, the other party might not even dare to accept it. Show me the information on the Dragon Spike. The woman's eyes flickered as she spoke to Shopkeeper Liu. All right. We have nearly 2 million middle-grade spirit stones in our hands. We can sell them first to raise Ao Gen's strength. The strength of the golden swordfish is still too weak. Standing in front of the city gate, Wang Xian looked forward as he felt the respectful and curious gazes from the surrounding people. Among all the temporary stalls for elixirs and weapons, only Fengxian did not have anyone. It seems that the current situation of Fengluan is not ideal either. Wang Xian smiled and walked toward the location of Fengxian's shop with a smile on his face. In such a situation, Wang Xian had to make a move. Moreover, with the strength of the Knife Scar mercenary group, he was not afraid. The strength of the Dragon Spike was sufficient to destroy the knife marks. Hey! Kid, don't court death. Beside the Phoenix Immortal shop, more than 10 members of the Knife Marks mercenary group saw Wang Xian and the rest walking over. They stared at them coldly and warned them. Chapter 922, made another strong enemy. There were more than 10 members of the Knife Scar mercenary group. The strongest one was at level 6, while the remaining 2 were at level 5 and 10 were at level 4. This force could be ranked in the top 3 in Shanghai town. However, this was only a part of the strength of the Knife Scar mercenary group. The more than 10 members of the Knife Scar mercenary group clearly recognized Wang Xian and the rest. The leader of the powerful mercenary group was in the limelight. He was a peerless genius with dual attributes. It could be said that in today's battle, Wang Xian would be the brightest star among the younger generation in the entire Holy Sea Town. However, they didn't have Wang Xian and the rest. Peerless genius. Destroy the Mirage Sea mercenary group? So what? In front of their Knife Scar mercenary group, what was he? For a mercenary group like Mirage Sea, their Knife Scar could destroy 10 of them. Even if the young man in front of them was in the limelight and was the most dazzling young man, they were not afraid of him at all. A threat, a blatant threat. More than 10 members of the Knife Marks mercenary group threatened him without hiding anything. Wang Xian paused for a moment and looked at the dozen of people standing beside the Phoenix Immortal shop. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. What I want to do is none of your business. Wang Xian stared at the dozen of people coldly and said with slight disdain. Boom. In an instant, the expressions of the dozen of people from the Knife Scar mercenary group turned cold. Their eyes were filled with killing intent as they stared at Wang Xian. Hee. Wang Xian glanced at them indifferently and continued to walk towards the shop. Have you heard of the saying, kill the chicken to warn the monkeys? A middle-aged man from the Knife Scar mercenary group threatened Wang Xian coldly. Don't think that you are strong just because you have some ability. Don't think that you are strong in Shanghai town just because the people around you respect you. Hee. Do I need to report what I want to do to you? Do I need your approval? Wang Xian glanced at them with disdain. Young master. Shopkeeper Liu was slightly stunned when he saw Wang Xian walking towards them and the conversation with the Knife Scar mercenary group. He quickly shouted. The woman beside him was also sizing up Wang Xian with a face full of astonishment. He had an imposing manner and had a unique aura of a superior. The people around also saw this scene. They looked at Wang Xian and the dozen of Knife Scar mercenaries with astonishment. Why? Why did the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group have a conflict with the Knife Scar mercenary group? This. An old man was stunned. Why would a rising star like the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group have a conflict with the Knife Scar mercenary group? This was an unwise thing to do. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that they were courting death. Moreover, the Knife Scar mercenary group wasn't something the Mirage Sea mercenary group could compare to. The difference in strength between the two was huge. The leader of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group has such a violent temper. He directly retorted back when faced with the threat of Blade Scar and the other experts. Isn't he afraid that Blade Scar will attack them? It's irrational. It's simply too irrational. As a genius, he must first ensure that he can survive before he can become an expert. It's clearly courting death to make enemies everywhere. This is too arrogant. For the Knife Scar mercenary group to become the #1 mercenary group in Holy Sea Town, their strength is definitely not something that a newly emerged mercenary group can afford to provoke. Even if they are a peerless Heaven's Pride or a monster, they can't do it. Discussions could be heard from the surroundings. The members of the Knife Scar mercenary group and shopkeeper Ching from the Life and Death Pill workshop beside the Knife Scar also stared at Wang Xian coldly. Last time, he took out 8 million spiritual stones and directly slapped the faces of the Life and Death Elixir workshop and the Holy Item Forging workshop. Now that he had provoked them again, they were filled with killing intent. Shopkeeper Liu, do you guys want to buy some weapons? Also, I want to buy some elixirs. Wang Xian directly told shopkeeper Liu all the spiritual stones. Weapons? Shopkeeper Liu glanced at the woman beside him and nodded immediately after she nodded. Yes, young master. Thank you for choosing a small shop under such circumstances. In the future, you will get a 20% discount for all items you buy from Fengxian. Shopkeeper Liu said hurriedly, these are some elixirs that we brought from Donghai City overnight. I will help you choose them now. The price of weapons will be the market price. Okay. Wang Xian nodded and passed an interspatial ring to shopkeeper Liu. Little brother, may I know what is the relationship between you and our Fengxian? The woman beside him was surprised when she saw Wang Xian taking out a minimum of 2 million spirit stones. She couldn't help but ask. He had spent 11 million middle-grade spirit stones for 3 purchases. Such a huge sum of money, and he was being threatened. If she said that he had no relationship with their Fengxian, she wouldn't believe it. Moreover, the name of the other party's mercenary group was the exact opposite of the name of Fengxian. There is some connection. If there is a chance in the future, you will know about it. Wang Xian smiled mysteriously. He did not say that he knew your master, Feng Wan. Compared to Feng Wan, Wang Xian was still too weak. He thought that when his strength was on par with her, he would call her over and compare their strengths. The woman was slightly stunned and felt very surprised. However, she could feel a trace of goodwill from Wang Xian. Captain Dao Hen, that kid has repeatedly refused to give you guys face. Is it? Meanwhile, at the side. When shopkeeper Ching saw Wang Xian taking out a large amount of resources again, a hint of heat flashed in her eyes. However, when she saw Wang Xian's face, her expression turned cold again. She said to Dao Hen, who was beside her with a murderous aura, "This kid is playing with fire and setting himself on fire." Dao Hen glanced at Wang Xian with one eye. There was no fluctuation in his eyes as he declared coldly, "I'm relieved with Captain Dao Hen's word." Shopkeeper Ching nodded with a smile on his face. He swept his gaze across Wang Xian and snorted coldly, There are some disputes that a kid like you cannot participate in. Even if it's a kid with monstrous talent. The second wave of the city defense mission begins. The weakest ones are the thousand-legged fish and the raging sea crab with level 2 extraordinary strength. At this moment, Jin Qinyuan's voice came from the city wall. Mission begins. 1:5-star gold mission, exit the city to battle and kill the ferocious beasts. Based on the number of ferocious beasts killed, you will obtain additional points. The carcass of the ferocious beast will belong to the slayer. 2. Silver 1-star mission, stand on the city wall and attack from afar. Based on the number of berserk beasts killed, additional points will be awarded. The corpse of the berserk beast will belong to the slayer. Additional points, 1 point for a Tier 1 berserk beast, 10 points for a Tier 2,100 points for a Tier 3, and 1,000 points for a Tier 4. The voice of the president of the Mercenary Association sounded. At the same time, the second wave of the city defense mission began. Everyone immediately flew into the air and looked at the ferocious beasts in the distance. There were 2 types of ferocious beasts, the thousand-legged fish. The lowest level was Transcendent 2, and there were around 70,000 to 80,000 of them. The Inferno sea crab was at Transcendent 2, and there were around 40,000 to 50,000 of them. Although there were fewer of them, their strength was dozens of times greater than before. The danger of this mission was 10 times greater than before. Chapter 923, crushed them like ants. The mercenary groups that accept the mission can fight within a kilometer of the city wall. If they encounter any life-threatening danger, they can fly into the city. Of course, if there are mercenary groups that take advantage of the situation and escape after accepting the mission, it will be considered as a mission failure. The Demon Hunters Association will ensure that the mission is fair and just. The mercenary groups that accept the mission immediately go to battle. After the mission was displayed, the president of the association reminded everyone once again. There are at least Transcendent level rank 2 beasts, and there are many Transcendent level rank 3 beasts. This mission is not something we can accept anymore. It's too dangerous. Transcendent level rank 2 cultivators, unless they have confidence in their own strength, are extremely dangerous. When the mission came out, everyone's expressions changed when they saw the beasts crawling over from the surface of the sea. Many mercenary groups looked outside with serious expressions and gave up on this mission. However, many mercenary groups still accepted it. A 5-star gold mission was enough to tempt many mercenary groups. Especially when fighting outside the city, the ferocious beasts they hunted were definitely more than the long-range attacks on the city walls. The corpses of the ferocious beasts were a huge income. Wealth and honor came from taking risks. For many mercenary groups, it was a good opportunity to make a fortune. Let's go. Charge. In an instant, the confident mercenary groups moved and flew out of the city. Wang Xian moved and followed them out of the city. Ao Jian and the rest followed them. One by one, the mercenary groups flew out and soon reached 4,000 to 5,000 people. Leader, this kid is too arrogant. Do we want him later? On the city wall, a group of people from the Sword Scar mercenary group walked slowly towards Cheng Cheng. An old man glanced at Wang Xian and the rest with a cold expression and said, "There's no rush. There will be 3 waves of monsters attacking the city this time. Once the siege is over, we will take action. If we take action now, the mayor will be displeased." Dao Hen pulled out the long saber on his back without any expression. He didn't even look at Wang Xian. In his opinion, the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group was just an ant that could be easily squashed to death. They could take action at any time. All right, then let that kid live a little longer. You don't need to report to us if you want to do anything. However, if you dare to disobey us, you will die. The middle-aged man revealed a sinister smile. Everyone, get into formation and coordinate with each other. The second wave of attacks isn't something the first wave can compare to. Dao Hen slowly walked to the center of the front from the void. He scanned the surroundings with one eye and said coldly, Yes, yes, it's Commander Dao Hen. Everyone get into formation and coordinate with each other. Only then can we kill more fierce beast. The rest of the mercenary groups quickly responded. The members of the Dao Hen mercenary group stood at the center. Around them, the mercenary groups were arranged in formation under the command of the Dao Hen mercenary group. The prestige of Dao Hen was very ordinary when he ordered all the mercenary groups. The 200 mercenary groups, 4 to 5,000 people, quickly got into formation. However, only the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was ignored by the side. The second wave of ferocious beasts was still 4 to 5 kilometers away. Everyone was holding their weapons. Leader Dao Hen's prestige is really strong. Under his orders, everyone immediately formed a formation. After all, that is the strongest mercenary group in the Holy See. However, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group seems to have been ostracized. Because of the incident at the 3 pill and weapon workshops, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group seems to have angered the Dao Hen mercenary group. I saw this just now. The leader of the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group, Wang Xian, is too arrogant. He didn't give any face to the Knife Scar mercenary group. I think they will suffer in the future. A kid dares to get involved in the incident at the 3 elixir and weapons workshops. Does he really think he is the leader of the Knife Scar mercenary group? I think that kid is going to be destroyed. Yeah, so what if he has dual attributes? So what if he is a genius? He dares to provoke the Knife Scar mercenary group. He is simply courting death. In Shanghai town, which one of them is a match for the leader of the Knife Scar mercenary group? On the city wall, everyone saw the neatly arranged mercenary group. Only a dozen or so members of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group were in a different position. Some of them said mockingly, "The strength displayed by the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group today and the domineering aura it displayed could be said to have shocked many people. For a young man to have such strength and power, it made many people feel jealous." Upon seeing this scene, they mocked him. Jin Chenyuan watched this scene indifferently and was very satisfied with Dao Hen's behavior. He was a team leader who knew how to adapt to the situation. He was also a capable team leader. It was not luck for him to be able to get to where he was today. He is indeed very strong, but he is too arrogant. However, it is a good thing for him to be young and arrogant. At a spot not far away from Jin Chenyuan, Jin Liuyang looked at Wang Xian and the rest and whispered, "Liuyang, a tree stands tall in the forest. Arrogant people will not have a good ending." The long-haired young man beside him whispered. Now, he could only say it in a low voice. After witnessing the young man's strength and violent personality, he no longer dared to provoke and taunt him in front of everyone. All he could do was to enjoy his words and curse him. "He's here." At this moment, Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly at the bottom of the city wall. He wasn't bothered by being isolated by a group of mercenaries. Even if he was asked to line up with them, he wouldn't agree to it. The 1,000-legged fish and the raging sea crab, which had the lowest level of extraordinary too, posed no threat to him at all. When more than 100,000 ferocious beasts rushed over, Wang Xian dashed out directly. The slaughter began in an instant. Wang Xian displayed his wood and fire attributes and killed the ferocious beasts one by one quickly. The group of mercenaries also collided with the ferocious beasts. On the city wall, the group of city guards and mercenaries also launched long-range attacks. Arrow feathers, flames, water swords, wind blades, and all kinds of attacks were launched at the ferocious beasts. "City Lord, let's go and hunt down those transcendent level 7 ferocious beasts behind us." On the city wall, the only rank 8 transcendent expert in Holy See Town requested Jin Chenyuan's orders. Permission granted. Jin Chenyuan waved his hand. There were a few rank 7 transcendent beasts behind them. These beasts were not something the mercenary group could deal with. They needed to send out experts of the same level as the president of the demon-hunting mercenary group. 2 experts attacked. In an instant, the roars of the city guards' beasts and the sounds of humans fighting could be heard. The 1,000-legged fish looked like a lizard. Each of them was 2 to 3 meters in size and had more than 10 sharp teeth. The raging sea crab's body was emitting flames and it was 2 to 3 meters in size. It had sharp spikes on its head and could spit flames. It was extremely terrifying. In a one-on-one situation, even a level 2 transcendent human might not be a match for the beast. Chapter 924, Rank 7 Extraordinary Pill. Fierce battles broke out. From time to time, members of the mercenary group were injured and brought to the city wall by their companions. Compared to the first wave of battles, the second wave was much more intense. The thousand-legged fish had metal attributes. Its sharp teeth could easily pierce through human warriors. It could stand up and use its 4 legs to support its body. Its other legs were like blade lights. Its attacks were very powerful. The sea crabs were stronger than the thousand-legged fish. They carried flames and relied on their hard shells to attack. Their hard shells were like 10,000-year-old stones in the lava. If any sea crab was placed in a city on Earth, it would have the terrifying strength to destroy a city. However, there were experts in the Holy Sea town. 2 experts at the level 8 of the extraordinary realm went to the back to kill the leader of the thousand-legged fish and the sea crabs. The 2 experts held back a lot of the thousand-legged fish and the raging sea crab. Wang Xian held a wooden long whip in his hand. It was formed from the green dragon pearl. With a wave of his arm, the long whip pierced through more than 10,000-legged fish. He killed the ferocious beasts below level 3 supernatural realm easily. Even those below level 2 supernatural realm did not dare to resist. Other than the weaker members of the mercenary group, everyone on the city wall participated in the hunting of the ferocious beasts. Looking from the city wall, one could see with the naked eye that the speed at which Wang Xian and the rest were hunting the ferocious beasts far exceeded the speed of the other mercenary groups. More than 10 extraordinary second-stage warriors were killed with a wave of their hands. Even the extraordinary third-stage and fourth-stage warriors could not withstand Wang Xian's attack. In less than half an hour, Wang Xian had killed over 1,000 ferocious beasts. If these over 1,000 ferocious beasts were converted into resources, they would be worth 3 to 4 million middle-grade spirit stones. However, this was only the beginning. Burning the river and boiling the sea. Descending of the wood realm, spirit enchantment. One after another, divine abilities were released. The golden swordfish at the side didn't fall behind either. They released large-scale metal attribute divine abilities. With a single divine ability, hundreds of thousand-legged fish and raging sea crabs were killed. Hoo-hoo. I can't take it anymore. The energy in my body has been used up. I'll go back first. I can't hold on any longer. After 20 minutes of battle, most of the mercenary group members' foreheads were covered in cold sweat. Battles, especially those that involved massacres, consumed the most energy. Those who could stand at the foot of the city were all relatively strong. Half of them could instantly kill a rank 2 transcendent beast. However, it was also this kind of quick instant kill that consumed the most energy. It was just like an executioner. One would not feel tired after chopping off a person's head. However, one would also feel tired after chopping off 100 people consecutively. This was especially so when one released a series of divine abilities, which increased the speed of exhaustion. Very soon, some of the level 2, level 3, and even level 4 extraordinary mercenary group members flew back to the city wall to rest. However, Wang Xian, Ao Jian, and the rest did not feel tired at all. They were slaughtering. They were slaughtering non-stop. Nearly an hour later, Wang Xian and the rest were still slaughtering non-stop. This shocked the members of the mercenary group and the city guards who were standing on the city wall and were about to collapse. Damn, are the 12 of them still human? The battle has been going on for an hour without any rest. Awesome. There are only about 500 people on the battlefield. Some of them went back to the city wall to rest and take some pills before continuing the battle. Their physiques are so strong. They must have had some fortuitous encounter. They must have taken some high-grade pills. They spent millions of spirit stones to buy many pills from the immortal phoenix. What do you guys think is the relationship between the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group and Phoenix Immortal Elixir and Weapon Workshop? On the city wall, some people wiped the sweat off their foreheads and looked at the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group that was fighting non-stop with admiration. Die. The long whip in Wang Xian's hand was like a poisonous snake that pierced through an extraordinary level 4 raging sea crab. He let out a deep breath. After fighting continuously for an hour, he was also exhausted. The second wave is about to end. Wang Xian swept his gaze forward. The ground was filled with corpses, and only a dozen ferocious beasts were fleeing in panic. Phew, let's go back. We have killed at least 5,000 to 6,000 ferocious beasts this time. Wang Xian revealed a smile. 5,000 to 6,000 ferocious beasts were worth 20 million middle-grade spirit stones. He was all smiles. These 20 million spirit stones were enough for him to advance his level to Transcendent Level 4, or it could also allow Ao Jian and the rest to advance to Transcendent Level 4. Spirit stones were a form of harvest. The points obtained from killing the ferocious beasts could also allow the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group to advance to gold grade. Let's go back. Wang Xian's body moved and flew towards the city wall. At the side, the members of the Saber Scar Mercenary Group flew over as well. However, their expressions were not very good. During the battle just now, they were always in the center. In the entire battle, 7 to 8 of their comrades had died. Among them, there was also an expert of extraordinary 6th level. This made their leader's expression extremely gloomy. It was difficult to nurture an expert of extraordinary 6th level, even if it was 10 to 20 million spirit stones. What terrifying combat strength! At this moment, on the city wall, shopkeeper Liu and the woman looked at Wang Xian and the rest who had flown back in astonishment. If he can grow up, he will definitely be able to suppress a top-notch powerhouse. The woman's eyes flickered. After hesitating for a moment, she moved her arm and a jade bottle appeared in her hand. The jade bottle was crystal clear. One look and one could tell that it was extremely valuable. However, what was even more precious was the medicinal pill inside. Using a transcendent Tier 7 medicinal pill to befriend a friend who has the potential to become a top-tier expert, it's worth it. The woman muttered. Shopkeeper Liu, who was at the side, widened his eyes when he saw Manager Yi suddenly take out a bottle of medicinal pills. Transcendent Tier 7 medicinal pill. This was the medicinal pill that Manager Yi was able to mobilize with the highest level. He could use this elixir to recruit strong fighters. However, even for someone at Supervisor Yi's level, he only had the authority to do so once in 3 years. Supervisor Yi, what are you trying to do? Manager Liu asked with a face full of astonishment. Initially, I was thinking of using this elixir to hire the dragon spike that you mentioned. But now, it seems that making a friend is more worthwhile than assassinating an enemy. The woman smiled faintly. She looked at Wang Xian who was flying over and went up to him directly. Shopkeeper Liu also followed him hurriedly. Commander Wang. When Wang Xian just landed in the city, a voice sounded. Wang Xian turned his head and saw shopkeeper Liu and a woman walking over. His face was filled with curiosity. Commander Wang, thank you for your support to our Fengxian elixir and weapons workshop. I was impressed by Commander Wang's massacre just now. It's just a small gift. It should be useful for your upcoming battle. The woman took out the elixir and handed it to Wang Xian. Elixir? Wang Xian looked over and was surprised. Ultimate Elixir, Level 7 Extraordinary. Extractable Dragon Energy, 8,800 Dragon Crystals. If he consumed this elixir, he would be able to reach Level 4 Extraordinary. In the form of a Divine Dragon, he could fight against a Level 7 Extraordinary. Chapter 925, Killing you is as easy as squashing an ant. The Ultimate Elixir. It is a very precious elixir that can be consumed by even extraordinary 4th or 5th level cultivators. After consuming it, one's strength can be greatly increased, causing one's mind to sink into a state of emptiness. One's comprehension of supernatural powers will be increased by tens of times. The woman explained with a smile when she saw Wang Xian's astonished expression. Wang Xian nodded his head slowly. He stretched out his hand and took the gift. He smiled and said, I'll accept the gift. I'll help you solve Fengxian's predicament in Shanghai town. The woman and shopkeeper Liu were stunned for a moment. Then, they smiled and said, we will take our time to solve the problem in Shanghai town. Since leader Wang has treated Fengxian so well, we will naturally repay him. I need to take some pills to rest first. After this battle is over, we can get together. Wang Xian spoke to the two of them and found a place with fewer people. The woman and shopkeeper Liu nodded and watched Wang Xian's figure leave. I feel that Commander Wang is very familiar with us, Fengxian. His actions give us the feeling that we are his own people. Shopkeeper Liu looked at Wang Xian's figure in deep thought and said to the woman, "There is one kind. If it were someone else who received our pills, they would definitely be filled with excitement or fear. However, he is just a little surprised. I wonder which one of us, Fengxian, has a relationship with this young man. Moreover, this relationship is not simple." The woman nodded slowly. Ding. Consume the spiritual pill and extract 8,800 dragon crystals. Ding. Host's level has increased. You have reached Transcendent Level 4. Ding. Host's level has increased. Your supernatural ability, Burning River and Boiling Sea, has been upgraded to the Flame of the Fire Dragon. At the side, Wang Xian, who had consumed the Transcendent Level 7 pill, had his level increased immediately. A Transcendent Level 7 pill and a pill that was worth tens of millions of middle-grade spiritual stones had directly increased his level by 8,800 dragon crystals. Wang Xian had a thought. Name, Wang Xian. Race, 5 elemental divine dragon, able to transform into a human. Level, extraordinary grade 4. Dragon crystal, 177-100-000. Supernatural ability, ruling the water tribe that is lower than one's own level. Devouring creatures to extract dragon crystals. Control of the 5 elements. Cultivation method, divine dragon transformation. Supernatural ability, fire dragon's flame, gold splits the void, wood world descends, water crisis city, fury of the earth, soul capture, spirit possession, light and dark fire dragon eyes, light and dark void, light and dark shadowless. Dragon Palace, Level 2. Dragon Palace members, 3,377. I've leveled up. The Burning River and Boiling Sea has turned into the Flame of the Fire Dragon. I wonder how powerful it is. Wang Xian looked at his attributes and smiled. He did not understand the supernatural powers of the light and dark attributes. He did not know if it was because he did not fuse with the heart of light and dark or some other reason. However, this was sufficient. With an increase in level, Wang Xian's strength would definitely undergo an earth-shattering change. In the third wave of the city defense battle, he would be able to kill even more ferocious beasts. After this city defense battle, the strength of the Dragon Palace will definitely experience a crazy increase. Wang Xian was full of confidence. The corpses of the ferocious beasts that he had killed were absorbed by the dragon pool and turned into dragon blood. This would allow a large number of members of the Dragon Palace to increase their levels. The third wave of monster siege begins. At this moment, Jin Qinyuan's voice sounded from the city wall again. The third wave of beasts, black-horned seahorses, has the lowest level of Transcendent Level Rank 2 and many of them are at Rank 3. There are more than 100,000 of them. Flying thorn sea beasts, the lowest level of Transcendent Level Rank 3 sea beasts. There are about 5,000 of them. Mission. Begin. 1. Diamond 1-star mission. Get out of the city and kill the beasts. Based on the number of beasts killed, you will receive additional points. The beast corpse will belong to the slayer. 2. Silver 5-star mission. Stand on the city wall and attack from a distance. Based on the number of beasts killed, you will receive additional points. The beast corpse will belong to the slayer. Additional points. 1 point for a level 1 ferocious beast, 10 points for a level 2,100 points for a level 3, and 1,000 points for a level 4. The points will increase one by one. It's starting, the last wave. Oh my god, there are about 5,000 flying thorn sea beasts. If we leave the city, it will be too dangerous. There shouldn't be more than 50 mercenary groups that can accept this mission. The third wave will have city guards leaving the city to fight. Moreover, there should be a level 8 extraordinary ferocious beast this time. The mayor should also make a move. Sounds of discussion could be heard from the surroundings. Everyone flew towards the city wall to prepare for the battle. Meanwhile, the 500 guards of Shanghai town flew out. They were fully armed and the weakest among them was at supernatural level 3. This was the strongest force of the guards in Shanghai town. Wang Xian accepted the mission without any hesitation. A 1-star diamond mission was equivalent to more than 10 5-star gold missions. As long as he completed this mission, the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group would be able to advance to the gold level. Let's go. Wang Xian led Ao Jian and the rest to the outside of the city and looked ahead. 500 city guards were floating in the sky. Their main focus was to deal with the flying sea beasts. Standing at the front was the mayor, Jin Chenyuan. The strength of the Holy Sea town alone was not enough to deal with so many ferocious beasts. Fight. On the city wall, there were more city-guarding weapons and huge war machines. There were a total of 100 heaven-piercing arrows that were 4 to 5 meters long. These heaven-piercing arrows could penetrate the defense of a transcendent level rank 5 beast. It required dozens of transcendent level rank 2 experts to pull them apart. Kill. This time, there were only 40 to 50 mercenary groups that accepted the mission. They did not charge forward directly. Instead, they waited for the arrival of the beast below the city wall. With their strength, they were not strong enough to charge forward. As long as they could guard the city wall, it was enough. Black-horned seahorses were similar to seahorses. They had 2 legs and a huge black horn. The black-horned seahorses emitted a terrifying black light and looked extremely tough. With 2 legs, their speed was extremely terrifying. Their bodies were wrapped in a layer of black keratin. They ran towards Holy Sea Town in an orderly manner. Boom, 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 boom. The ground began to tremble. The powerful aura caused many people's faces to turn extremely pale. Die, die, die. On the city wall, a few mighty figures flew into the sky. One by one, their supernatural abilities smashed downwards. In an instant, the charging momentum of the black-horned seahorse was greatly reduced. Flame of the fire dragon. Wang Xian let out a low roar. Flames that were 1,000 meters high instantly rose from his body. He was like a powerful god of fire. Haha, not bad. The flame of the fire dragon is not a one-time AoE spell. Instead, it is attached to the surroundings of the body. It can last for a very long time. Wang Xian was very satisfied. He clenched his hand and a fire sword appeared in his hand. Instantly, he charged forward. The third wave of the monster siege began. The slaughter began. Wang Xian wanted to make use of this defense to accumulate sufficient resources for the Dragon Palace. As expected, that kid has been hiding his strength just now. Dao Hen, who was not far away, swept his gaze over. One of his single eyes revealed a cold expression.